We go? You want to introduce it or you want me to?
We'll talk about it.
Hello, on video viewers. Welcome to this would be our 10th issue. And our third year anniversary. Our summer 2003 issue.
The first being the summer 2000 issue.
This is our document, our commentary, me and Mickey Vukovic, me being Kirk Dienda. And this is our intro.
I'm just here to interrupt, so don't mind me.
This intro actually was all Dog Ingveson's idea. He wanted...
The woman leaning over. Oh, that was a guy. I'm sorry.
He wanted to do an intro basically all fitness themed just throughout Southern California. So he rounded up a handful of people, that being Ryan Kingman right there, and the guy doing all the push-ups and all the other buff stuff, and then a bunch of people from On and 4 and 1 to basically jog around and just do stuff while Dog shot all the stuff in downtown LA.
There he is. Speaking of the devil.
That's Dog right there.
The Swedish devil.
And the people actually are running around in the intro are Ira, Ingram, Randy Simon, Doug Thompson, our music guy.
Bilu Chinito.
Yeah, Bilu Chinito. John LaCroix, one of our graphic designers here at 4 and 1, and Lori
Wilkes, our good friend.
And is that it?
My special good friend. Sorry.
Were you in there too?
I'm in there.
Okay, and Mickey, and that's it. And now we're in our third company-themed montage. It's with Pop War. It kind of came together, I think, through Cairo, and just in hopes of just pushing this company as it just came out. And these guys basically just took a couple filming trips and put together this montage for us pretty quickly. If you notice, most of the footage is all relatively around the same time. This is a trip they took to Miami for, I think, like a week or two, and ended up getting a ton of stuff and just put together this 3-minute part pretty quickly. And we were just psyched to do it. We liked all the guys on Pop War, and I'd been wanting to collaborate a little bit with Cairo on something, and so this worked out perfectly to get all these guys involved.
Put together, of course, by Ken Barnett.
Yeah.
Montager extraordinaire.
Yeah, Kevin edited this whole thing, and I think he ended up... Did he film any of it, too? Or?
Yeah, filmed a bit of it, I think.
Yeah, he filmed the opening trick at Cairo. Cairo originally... Frontside blunt slid that first, and then he went back there the next weekend. Our opening trick was supposed to be a frontside blunt slide on that ledge in the beginning, and then Cairo went back the next weekend and filmed a nose blunt slide, which was pretty last minute. So it's pretty cool to get that trick minutes before we were mastering. And
Ouch.
That's our first official dead spot.
Well, there'll be many more. Not to worry.
We're actually gonna try to do this commentary in one take and one take only. So you'll hear many mistakes and many bad points.
Yeah,
but
we have a strong tradition of one take director's commentaries, just because having just finished the issue and having just sent it for duplication and whatnot, it's pretty fresh in our minds, and we figure it's whatever's going to come out about it's going to come out about it, and there's no sense in theorizing and trying to plan it out too much. It's just us reacting to what we've just done, and Kirk being in the middle of all of it, he's certainly the best one to talk about it. So I'm just going to sit here quietly and watch and look and listen and learn.
The song you hear is actually Wing Co picked the song out. We were actually really excited about it. We thought it was completely different than more of the rock-ish stuff we'd always had for an opening. We never really had anything more electronic for an opening theme song, and thought it was just kind of cool and different. So we thought it kind of went with the look, or should you say the sound of what Pop War would sound like if they had a sound. We kind of just liked it. It was a fun, upbeat song, and this issue is a little bit more just like fun and upbeat, and not as serious as some of our like more intense documentary style pieces. Also, we chose downtown LA in the intro to kind of go along with a bit of the theme, is what you'll see later on for the Blind article, which is a huge part of it's based in downtown LA. So we thought it was kind of cool that the two went together. This trick that's coming up that closes Kenny Reed's part, this really long 50-50, was actually one of the It wasn't in the original edit of this. We originally ended on this trick, this kickflip backside lip slide, which Kenny hated and didn't want us to use, but we loved it. The long 50-50 though was basically a favor that Kenny owed us because he had a really good trick that was in the Russia article that On did 2 years ago that he pulled for his New Deal part and said he always would someday give us a trick. And so that was a trick he had filmed his next time around to Russia that he gave to us just recently, I guess is
Yeah.
the best way to put it.
That spot was, if you're curious, was right below that huge silver monument that you probably saw in that Russia article from spring 2002. So same general area in Moscow. Anyways, here's Kenny again.
We thought it was a cool segue to go from Kenny Reed ending the Pop War montage into these little postcards. This is an article we had talked about doing for a while, as Kenny kind of gets a lot of hype for how much he travels, and we had meant to do it in our last issue, our winter issue with Nodis, but the issue got so full that we had to basically pull these and push them. And we're going to try to make these a continuous article that will appear in the next couple issues of On, as Kenny, when he's always out on the road, just has been writing us postcards to let us know where he's at and what he's up to. We just thought it was something kind of fun and just to kind of play on how much he travels.
Kenny's a guy who loves just to get out to new places, and he's been on a lot of trips to, a lot of first trips to places like Russia, places like India. Certainly there's been skaters going on the East Bloc a lot, but he really loves to get out there and see some of these places and, obviously be, one of the first skateboarders, certainly pro skateboarders that a lot of the people he encounters have ever seen. And so in that sense, he's really quite an ambassador, around the world for skating and showing people what skateboarding could be and what it is certainly over here. And it's great to be able to kind of show where he's going and what areas are being exposed to skateboarding.
Each morning when I walk around
Now
there's one window
in
that's
Gay
not
Paris.
frosted, and I can see the Eiffel Tower.
This part was filmed and edited entirely by Wing Co. This was something that was kind of in the works for a long time. We kept throwing the idea back and forth with Ed as when he found out that he was doing this art show, of actually just documenting it just from the very beginning. And so eventually the time came, and we had spoken to Justin Regan and some of the America team riders and a few other skaters. When we found out that skateboarders were actually going to go out to this art show and they're going to do a demo at it and stuff, it really sounded like a fun way to finally do an article on Ed's art and just his involvement in art. And I imagine this his biggest art show ever at this point, and it was just a lot of fun. It seemed, because we knew there was going to be skateboarding and the involvement, like a cool crossover from art and skateboarding. So anyone who's interested in Ed's art could watch this piece, and anyone who wants to see some cool skateboarding could see this piece also. So Wing basically went out and met Ed as he set up this show, I think probably like a week in advance, and just everything involved, just getting ready, and I think just setting up such a big show. And then eventually, as you'll see, the opening reception.
Yeah, there was a photo I shot. I think the piece is interesting because it shows, obviously people know Ed is an established artist at this point, but it's interesting to see that in places like in Europe, different areas of Europe, particularly like in France, where art has obviously a huge history, and those are areas that really look towards the future in terms of art and new artists and whatnot, and it's very competitive in that sense. For Ed to get a gallery show like this right in the middle of Paris, at a prestigious gallery, and there's, you see, his award that he won from the, I think it was last year, the exhibit in Italy. The kind of, I think that's one that opened the doors for him around Europe. But here's the front of the Palais de Tokyo, where this show was, and
I have to admit that confuses a lot of people. People can't tell if this is in Paris or Tokyo because.
Yeah. Well, it's in Paris. Let's just say that for the record. That's definitely a French accent right there. Ed's really becoming established in the art world, and I think that's something that this piece establishes. But I think beyond that, everybody kind of knows that. But in this piece, you're seeing kind of the process of setting up a show. He showed up with just tons and tons of work, not all of which ended up on the walls. But you're seeing how he lays it out. He looks and he actually, I mean, he obviously painted those walls that the art was going to hang on. Normally in a gallery you'll see a white wall with the art, standing out against it. But Ed went ahead and really personalized the space. And you see how that happened. I think that's one of the really interesting about this piece that Wing put together. And the long days and sort of the, just the agony of deciding what goes where. Obviously, Ed had some help from Thomas Campbell, which is, I think, important to him.
And Deanna, I think that's pretty cool that she's just until she's there all the time.
Yeah, I think Deanna's been a great collaborator with Ed, and certainly a great sort of sounding board for a lot of things, and always been involved with all these projects and everything he's been doing. And is sort of making a name for herself in art and photography and things that she's been working on, so that's cool as well. But as Ed mentioned in the piece, it's he didn't necessarily want this to be a skateboard show, but obviously a lot of the subject matter is skateboarding, and skateboarding itself as a community is just rife with sort of potential imagery and things that Ed sort of borrows from and captures and uses in his art. And I think once he gets even better known, it's going to really open up to the rest of the world, particularly the art world, sort of how just interesting and creative skateboarding is just as a culture, and really kind of spread the skateboarding aesthetic through the art world. Things that we take for granted, just from style to actual artwork, to design, to graphic, to just whatever, the things that surround us as skateboarders and that we take for granted, the rest of the world, I think, is taking note of and beginning to appreciate. I think Ed's kind of spearheading a lot of that. So
it's totally worth all the work and effort that goes into this,
Did you use motor mouth?
Sorry?
I said nothing.
Jerk. Yeah, it's no coincidence that your name rhymes with jerk. There's Thomas.
Oh, we forgot to point out our favorite part of the article. That part's great that you just saw. You have to rewind it to watch it. It's Ed says Thomas came in, and as he says Thomas came in, Thomas comes into the frame and then says and pointed out something about the art. And so it's funny, you actually see Thomas point out something about the art at the same time. It's just cliche, just editing.
Yeah.
It's funny, but we like it. Something Wing did. We
take nothing for granted. We give our viewers no benefit of the doubt.
It's sort of like an inside joke, just for other, I think, film producers, editors, whatnot. It's just cheesy, but funny.
I like Ed's butt in that last shot. I don't mean that literally. Ed seems to have this habit of painting skatable structures these days. Recently at his house, I remember seeing this big plastic sofa thing that he had that he was painting all over and then drag out to the driveway and have a bunch of people skate on it, scratch it up and stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's a new direction for him.
Coming up in a minute, you'll see when Wing was at this reception filming all these people there in interviews. He slipped in a little shot of his wife who had gone with Wing to film this, which was pretty cool because they...
Not her.
No, not her. They ended up going, and she went with Wing to film this article, and then they actually stayed another week just for their own personal vacation, which was pretty cool, I thought. That's not her either.
It's art.
And her name's Twiggy.
Is that her real name?
No,
Oh.
Letitia.
Code name.
That's not her. There's Twiggy. And the funny thing was, we were watching this article, and Ricky Beatenbaugh was in here watching this and didn't know that was her. And that clip came up, and he just thought it was just some French woman. And he's, God, I hate French people. Look at her. She's so stupid, or something like that. And Wing was sitting right here. And it was just great. Ricky was just talking shit on Wing's wife and didn't know that it was Wing's wife. It was just like, oh, God. And, Ricky's face just turned completely red when someone told him. But it's funny. I have a pair of boots just like that.
If you wear red boots in Moscow, they think you're a hooker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but this is Paris, so
I didn't know
it means
that.
you're royalty. one other note on that last piece. Aaron Rose, who was interviewed there, he's been involved in promoting skateboarding art and skateboarders as artists, for well over a decade now, and curating a lot of gallery exhibits around the world. Certainly knows what he's talking about when it comes to skateboarders and art, and it's great to have his comments and opinions. And
You keep talking during the commercial break. I'm gonna go pee.
okay. Jesus. Anyways, so here's a little commercial section. The commercials are interesting. I mean, there's I think some viewers might go, oh damn, commercials, I'm buying a video, I'm watching commercials, but it's interesting because, I mean, even in my background in working with skateboard magazines, I talk to readers, and they say such and such and such and such photo in a magazine, and I would think, trying to sit there and think which photo they're talking about. It turns out they're talking about some ad, and there's very little distinction. I think when people pick up magazine, they look at the editorial stuff that the staff actually puts together, as well as the ads which the companies put together. I mean, certainly they know that there's a difference, but it's all one package. And in that sense, with On, the commercials are also part of the package, and we really try and show the companies as commercials that reflect those brands, the stronger brands in the industry, and that are pretty well done. I mean, so there's some really amazing, for example, filmmakers working for some of these companies. I mean, this is the DC commercial put together by Greg Hunt. Over at Girl, you got Ty Evans, and the list goes on, different brands. So there's a lot of stuff coming out of the companies that obviously we get to show in the commercial section, which is kind of cool.
Where had it come from?
This was a kind of an interesting ad. I don't think we're quite sure what to make of it ourselves, but it's.
What were you talking about just now when I came in?
What?
What were you talking about?
None of your business. But again, it's something kind of different.
Did you talk about the DC commercial? Did you tell him about
What?
Greg Hunt stopping by yesterday?
No.
A little teaser of next issue of On Video. We got an article coming with Deer Dick.
Oh yeah. You get a chance to watch the DC video / movie. You'll see Rob Beardick's.
They had a commercial for it already. It was the first.
Right, but you'll really get to see, get introduced to Rob Beardick's friend, Big Black, who you've seen probably in a previous commercial, but.
Just big security guard. Basically, they did this whole intro that I'm sure you guys saw the ads for, and the ads and commercials and whatnot of the security guard that basically would follow Deerdick around. And we're gonna do an article, basically on the making of it, of doing that in our next issue of On, to kind of just time with the release of the DC video. And so we got a teaser of the intro to Deerdick's part, and it is just hilarious. It's really good. It's cool to see the really cool, like, kind of neat production value going into skateboarding. We just saw the Girl video and just absolutely blown away. It gave me the chills to see a skateboard video of that level and magnitude.
Yeah.
It looks like the DC video is going to be just a really just thought out and great quality video also. I mean, I imagine the skateboarding is just going to be incredible, and the fact that they're actually going out of their way to do these like really cool little, I guess you call them skits, I don't even know. It's gone beyond skits at this point with the stuff we saw in the Girl video.
I don't think we'll be seeing a tractor in it though.
Yeah.
But
it's better
DC
than
video will be 10 years in the making. It should be pretty interesting. So I think we all anticipate that.
Oh shit! Thank God this isn't the real master. I didn't open one of the drives for. It's a commercial. It's open right now.
Oh, so we're looking at a black screen, and you're looking at something else.
You're seeing a November commercial.
Yeah. So, anyways, thanks to them. Thanks to all the sponsors. This really helped get this video out there for you guys. And trying the video is always interesting. That'll be cool to see too.
This will be the first one that Ewan worked on, right?
He's been there for Ian Bowman and John Holland, putting in the hours. Shit. And of course, Ed Roble and Gons and all these guys. The channel videos always seem to pick some really interesting personalities to put together in those, so we'll see how that goes. We'll actually be seeing that in a couple weeks at the premiere. The Moscow. Always rolling.
See, Muska got the cover of Strength.
No.
There's a whole article on like all the stuff that basically is in this issue too, so the timing was pretty cool. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought we were going into birdhouse. Oh, there's Muska. That's great.
So my favorite
Come on,
ghetto
Colin.
blaster.
This little on the side is.
But,
I won't get any reception.
Right.
got a lot of
Hello?
magazines. It was like a big black one. It was the Lasonic.
Hello?
And it had like stickers all over it.
Yeah.
It just been everywhere. It's like the infamous ghetto blaster. It's
I can hardly hear. I don't get any reception in the edit bay, and we're actually recording something right now.
like it's just like they come and go, and like a lot of times like if I'm at a demo or something like and there's a kid around that's like really
No.
excited,
Well, I'm gonna have to call you back. We're
there's a couple kids
we're
that
actually
know who they are.
we're recording the commentary right now.
Probably one of my most memorable ghetto
Bah.
blasters, and like it was fun while I had
That was my
it. It
mom.
was fun to give it away too, so that was probably the one.
That this Pro's Choice on the side thing with Muska was actually, if you notice, was during the photo shoot that he shot for 4-in-1 for that new ad campaign they're starting, where it says this is Chad Muska and you're watching 4-in-1. I got to go along and just kind of check it out as they were doing it, and had a camera and just thought it'd be fun to shoot something with Muska, just as he's a pretty eccentric kind of person, just loves talking. So it's cool. He literally threw that thing out in like a matter of a minute or two, and we managed to make an article out of it. So it's really cool. It's just fun working with him for a couple minutes. But now we're at the Birdhouse article, and this article is actually a mix of fun and not fun to work on. It originally came to us. Brian Sumner called us and said that basically they had 40 log tapes of this tour they went on across the U.S. and just told me over the phone. And it was like, oh shit, that sounds cool. Let's do an article, with you guys. It'd probably be mostly skate heavy, but let's check it out. So they dropped the tapes off, and what we found out is they were all filmed horribly, and basically we couldn't really make an article out of even 40 tapes.
It was a pretty compelling concept with the tour and what they were doing, and it was just a funny, kind of a good, interesting story, we thought.
Yeah, so we wanted to go forward with it, even though it wasn't that their skating was bad, it was just the footage to pick from to make a really like intense skate part just wasn't there, but the story was great. It's this whole team going on tour, and they're only traveling in Lexuses, and Jeremy Klein and Tom Green had made it basically the unofficial Hooters tour. They would only go to towns that had Hooters in them, and of course Tom Green was on it too, so the whole thing sounded great, and we wanted to do something either way. So we said, well, we need to at least do some interviews so we can set up a story behind it. So basically, John Hampton said that he'd get the team together and we could just do a whole group interview, and we would meet him at Birdhouse. Well, we got to Birdhouse, and the funny thing was there's a Hummer limo outside waiting for us, and apparently we're not doing the interviews at Birdhouse. There's a Hummer limo that's going to pick us up, and we're going to go to the local Hooters at Newport Beach with the team there, and they're going to close down the whole upstairs at Hooters, and we're going to be able to just basically have all the food and beer we want. And they basically flew in Hooters girls from other Hooters to be in this, and we would do these interviews at Hooters for the whole night, and basically that's what happened. But as you can imagine, that story in its own is completely random, and just it was a ton of fun, I guess.
What goes on in the Hummer stays in the Hummer.
Yeah.
No, it was fun. They actually brought in all the extra Hooters girls from surrounding areas, and which was nice of them on their time off to come down and help out. But it added another sort of dimension to just trying to get interviews out of these guys. And of course, Jeremy was, before we got there was stopping at liquor stores and hydrating, let's say, and then of course we got there and kept going. So it was pretty funny.
So we essentially turned up we had almost two different articles. We really had this article, a story about us going to Hooters in a Hummer limo and doing all these interviews, and everyone just getting absolutely basically plastered at Hooters over the course of a couple hours.
Mm-hmm. Everyone except, of course, the married guys.
Yeah. And then afterwards, everyone, it was really fun, everyone piled into into the Hummer limo. You'll see at the end of this article, and continue to go bar hopping the rest of the night, which is pretty fun. Anytime you fill a limo up with a bunch of pro skaters and a bunch of girls in orange running shorts and tank tops. When you show up at a bar in that style, it's just some other level shit. It's just funny. So it was a ton of fun to work on this article, but at the end of the day, it took a long time to work on this because, like I said, we had 40 tapes to go through, and we had essentially 5 interviews, and you're whittling down days worth of footage into really all this turned out to be was like a 3-minute article. And
but it goes to show you what some companies put into the touring. I mean, beyond the skating, obviously you're looking at top pros, and they do what they do on the course or on the ramps and whatnot. But as a company, they behind the scenes, they're setting up all this stuff. I mean, they took these cars and designed a street course they could drive around literally, and just everything that went into the tour that was kind of above and beyond what a lot of tours are, and the fact that they went to these small towns that didn't have skate parks and brought their own stuff and were able to do demos for people who would never have a chance to see them. Oh, look at that.
That's real.
Yeah.
Those aren't special effects.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it special effects anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
So there's really the end of the interview, and really, even more.
Just the night just beginning.
Yeah.
For some guys. Of course, a lot of us went home. So anyway. But the interview footage of Hawk, as you might notice, it wasn't
At Hooters.
At Hooters, it was actually at his house because he was on a different schedule. So we hooked up with him a little bit after. Hooked up with the rest of the guys. There they are. Ta-da!
And then,
but it was fun, and Hooters were very nice, and the girls were real nice, and just accommodating and all that, and it was great. Worked out real well.
This is the second postcard from Kenny. This is funny if you pay attention to the beginning and the ends of these. It's what appears to be Kenny's postcard that he sends to us. What people don't know is Kenny Reed's handwriting is so god awful that you cannot read it at all. So we actually don't show the back of his postcard in these. It's really actually my handwriting, and it's me translating the best I can what he wrote on a postcard, and then basically translating it into something that looks like he wrote us, because I can't explain. You really can't read what he writes. So I take essentially what he wrote about on the back of his postcard and kind of turn it into really something that fits about a minute's worth of time. And then he came in here and just re-recorded what I wrote for him. So if you listen to what he's saying and look at the graphic at the beginning and the end, that is actually what he is saying.
At this point, he's just too busy traveling around and experiencing stuff to sit down and write about it. But someday when he's done with all of these travels, I'm sure he'll write a pretty compelling book, some kind of memoir of some sort.
Now we're to this bootleg part.
In contrast to the birdhouse part, this is really just skate heavy.
Yeah, pretty much. It's funny, this article was pure just skateboarding and just to at least give it the usual just on look or sound. We just wanted, at the last minute, this article was completely edited, and we decided that it'd be cool to at least get a little bit of a voiceover in there just to explain kind of what was going on. So even though the article was completely done, we Mark Brandstetter, team manager and filmer for Bootleg, and Jay Strickland, basically one of the founders of Bootleg, came in and just really we just recorded them talking about a couple of the highlights of the trip, and later on we just gave it to Kevin, and Kevin Barnett just put it in and did a good job, and it gave it an otherwise just skate heavy part, gave it a little bit of depth, and maybe the average viewer just some inside look at just what these guys go through in a couple of days. They literally just did a power trip through Europe quickly, which is cool, and just got what they got and gave it to us, and turned out to be a cool part. It's great to get some skating from Pete Eldridge and Scott Kane. We hadn't really had those guys except for a couple of tricks here or there before.
Yeah, in contrast to like the Birdhouse Tour, I mean the Birdhouse Tour was a high concept kind of event where they went around and it was just a really big presentation, and obviously they did a lot of of work, background work, to get all this stuff coordinated and whatnot. And so that story sort of focused on that stuff, and this is more, I mean, they just literally flew out there, got on trains, and just went everywhere they could go and filmed a bunch of stuff. And that's really, I mean,
There's Jay Strickland.
you know, essentially, that's what you see. This is what they did. Traveled and skated.
There's Mark that we were talking about. He's actually the one who filmed it, and he works for On also and films a ton of stuff for us. It's funny if you watch this. Obviously, you can see just how much of a character he is. He's, you know, completely serious and you know, in all of his voiceovers in this part, but then you can see he whips out the insanity that hides inside Mark's head. Jay Strickland came with him, but didn't want to do an interview for this, just for whatever reason. It's just Jay. Comes and goes. You have no idea what you'll get out of him. So since he didn't want his voice to be heard or his face to be seen for this article, we ended up putting both of them in the behind-the-scenes photos, so you can check it out there instead. And Jay is the one sitting on a bike in one of the photos later on. Which really has nothing to do with this article. Kind of does. Really. Here comes good old Paris. This is now the staple of any skateboarding video. You have to have the double set at Nosdam. One way or another. It's just not a skateboard video without it. So in a minute you'll see they eventually met up with French Fred, and he took him to.
Yeah, Nosdam has become the new Barcelona train station, more or less.
But with footage like this, I guess you still can't complain. Just tricks it like this. But Pete got down, are just absolutely ridiculous.
I'm told it's really slick there.
Yeah, you can tell when he lands that switch frontside flip. He just slides all over the place. I've never been there.
Well, that's what you get with 17th century marble. You know, Europe, you never know what you end up skating on. You know, so it's like.
The microphone that we used to symbolize it, the voiceover at the beginning and the end of the article, was shot by John Bradford, our graphics guy that does all the stuff for On. When he was still in school up in Santa Barbara, he went to school at Brooks, and that was just a project he had to do, and it was just that microphone. We always liked the photo and thought it was cool, and it lent itself perfectly to this article, just to kind of show that there was a voiceover right there. So.
The actual microphone we used to record this stuff is actually a lot cooler than that one.
But it didn't want its face to be seen in the video either.
Look at that clunker.
Commercial break.
We heard we were going to go down to Mexico.
And now a word from our sponsors.
I'm gonna get some water.
I remember running into Ice-T once a couple years ago at the Van skate park. He was hanging out with Steve Van Doren, the son of the founder of Vans, and I was pretty shocked. He was wearing K-Swiss shoes. But here's Muska. Chad's a little bit like Ed. It's interesting. He's obviously branching out, doing some different things, and now he's getting into producing and stuff like that. And where Ed Templeton is doing artwork and getting the name in that sort of area. Chad's getting busy in the music world and just doing. I mean, I think Musca Beach was more of a personal project for him, but it's interesting what kind of buzz has been happening with that project and all that. And new series coming up for all you kids who need some instruction. This is a new brand I'm not too familiar with. The interesting thing about this issue of On, it wasn't deliberate, but it turns out that it's sort of, I guess it's sort of our celebrity issue. Obviously there's the Tom Green and Tony Hawk aspect from the Birdhouse story. But also in the Blind story, he couldn't do it without involving Jason Lee and Spike Jonze, who in the movie world have certainly gone off and made names for themselves there. Ironically, we're listening to Steve Barra speak now during the 55 commercial, and he's been doing his own thing in that arena as well. But I'm just explaining that kind of inadvertently this has become celebrity issue of on some of the different personalities involved. But so certainly appreciate all those people giving their time to be involved in these segments. It's funny how in the past you'd have a slam section in the end of a video, and these days slams are like staple to even short commercials. It's such a part of going out there and skating and being a pro. And for those of you out-of-staters, we're sitting in Southern California right now, and there's a little bit of rain this morning. I drove up here, up to Orange County from San Diego, and it's about an hour drive, and there were no less than 8 totaled cars on the side of the road from people who just skidded out in the rain and just couldn't deal. It's insane. A little bit of rain and people just freak out here. So, if you come out this way, if you're not from here, starts to rain, stay off the roads. Circuit ads are always interesting. The last couple that I've seen, it's a video ad, but it's all comprised of stills, and I think that was an interesting and effective way to do it and make their ads stand out a little bit. But again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about the different styles and sort of aesthetics of different brands, and how in the commercial break section you get to see a lot of that, and some of the talent that sort of helps build some of the name brands that you know of, and probably whose products you use. But
What's coming up next?
Around the World's an interesting product. We just were able to see the finished version recently, and it's really cool to see some of these guys, kind of like what Kenny does, going around to skate different areas of the world. This whole video is just guys going around and skating some pretty remote spots, and probably some stuff you haven't seen, and it's pretty interesting to see it all together and learn a little bit about those areas and regions and whatnot.
And here we go.
Not very good. And the titles are crooked, and they're not very good. I mean, it was a while
Jason was a
back,
fun
but it's
interview.
not like it was
Probably one of the funnest
73
ones.
or
He
74
has so much to say about everything.
91.
His was fun, and the other fun one was Paul and Jeremy's, who's coming up right here. It was great because there was such a contrast. Jason's was so
Bitter old man versus
just well put together. He knew how to conduct himself in an interview, how to speak and out loud to the microphone and really
project.
yes, and just tell very very long-winded answers and stories, which is great for an interview. And then
There's the actual video box, in case you're curious. Anyways,
borrowed from Brian Witt, who is one of my friends who has a huge library of skateboard videos that goes running to way too many times. I feel bad. I think we have like half of his video library now on our shelf, but
there's some great old ads.
but you'll see throughout this whole thing. Paul and Jeremy's interview was actually a ton of fun. It was a complete contrast to Jason's. It was just those two guys in front of the cameras being themselves and being funny, and just being 17-year-old kids or however old they are. And just their attention span and how they answer questions is just completely different. And so and obviously they're the new generation, so we thought it'd be a great.
And here we have the old generation.
Yeah.
Andy Jenkins helped worked with Spike on a magazine called originally one called Homeboy in the 80s. It was kind of a skate and youth culture magazine, and then a magazine called Dirt, which was a sort of young men's magazine in the early 90s that didn't last too long, but so they have a long history together.
And then Andy Jenkins was in Milk with Jeff Tremaine, which also has played a part of why we interviewed them. And that just they're friends with Spike too, I take it. And
Jeff works with Spike on Jackass.
And Andy obviously works with Spike at Girl. And they're a cool interview to get.
It was pretty exciting for me because I knew they were really good, but at the same time I was young, so I was kind of like.
And they're in Milk, which is what I was about to say is any kids that don't know is the band that's in Jason's part in the Blind video, which kind of turned into just a
little phenomenon. These are all checkouts from Transworld skateboarding in the early 90s.
That Spike shot.
And then that was a trick tip there.
Aaron Mesa shot that photo. It was a really cool coincidence. We had done a phone interview with Spike and knew we wanted some sort of imagery to kind of tell that story that we just did a phone interview with Spike because he was busy, and we really didn't know how in the world we were going to get a photo of Spike on the phone, and we're just kind of really just stumbling all over the place trying to get someone to take a photo of him while he's on the phone or something, and I just coincidentally was on the phone with Aaron Mesa, and he told me he had some photos of Spike while Spike was on the phone, and it just worked out perfect. He emailed it over to us right then, and it just worked great. We owe him a
debt of gratitude.
Yes. And it was actually cool. It was a photo from the last girl in chocolate video, the chocolate video, La Vida Loca, I think it was called. When they were working on that, when they were dressed up as all the old men and whatnot. So Aaron shot that photo then. That spot right there is actually right down the street from 4-1, but it's not like that anymore. You can't skate it. They redid the plaza, and there's really not, that rail's not there, and those stairs aren't there anymore.
I think they moved the extension cord too.
Bank I saw, so I'd like to go back there and try this.
That was the extension cord.
Even when that was the case,
to someone holding the light. If you look, it's actually Rudy that was holding the light while Gons did that rail slide, which I always thought was really cool.
And we'll press record on the freaking old
you notice
heavy camcorder.
if you saw our last issue, you'll recognize these banks, and maybe probably in that same bench from Naudis's part. This is the spot that's
he does that frontside nose grind on it.
Skated forever.
Skateboard history.
Right around the same time,
The
which
double
is
sided
cool.
curve, the white curve.
Is that on Sunset right there? The 76?
I don't know.
And,
We don't know.
But
But anyways,
we don't know
it
where it
wasn't
is.
3:44 in the morning.
As you see right
But
there.
it was cool to think it was all these years until we asked Ben about it.
Yeah, I was a kid, and even though it's completely backwards, if you look at the footage, I remember being like, yeah, that's awesome, it's Gons. He's skating at 4 a.m. Like I always just remember feeling really excited about it. But if you actually look at it, it's 3:45 and it's dark, and then it's like 3:15 or something like that, and it's light or something, so you can actually tell the clock's just wrong, and it is just late afternoon, and they're out filming. It's starting to get dark, but nonetheless. This whole part's funny. It's basically similar to like a maps of the skaters' homes for any kid who's interested where those spots are in downtown LA. If any kid didn't know now, or didn't know, that they will now, that basically everything is within like 1 block of each other.
Of course, you can't go there, but
Yeah, it's not gonna do any good. So, as this guy will tell you right here, this is kind of cool. I was just looking desperately for a clip of a security guard or someone getting kicked out of downtown LA or something like that, and I just was running around the building and asked Joe Krolick and Ryan Marcus if they had a clip, if they knew of any clips that, were in the building that maybe 4-1 had of someone getting kicked out, and Joe told me that was just sitting here, which is great. It was literally this security guard telling you not to come to downtown LA, which followed up what Rudy was saying perfectly. So it's pretty cool. It was shot by what's his name? Mike Rafter. That clip was from Mike Rafter. He sent it on a Firewire tape for 4-1. So.
the dudes.
That graphic right there was completely last minute. Another one of the last minute things in this video. This video was almost 100% done, and we realized we really didn't have that many illustrations from Naudis this time, which kind of sucked. So we watched the issue and just tried to make a couple notes of maybe a couple places that could use an illustration from Naudis, and I just emailed him, and he just gave us that TV. We told him the idea of just at least to try to illustrate that the kids were watching TV and actually watching that part, and so he just drew us that TV, and it turned out great. We didn't have as many illustrations in this issue from Naudis that we'd like to have, but sometimes we have a lot, sometimes we don't. That was one of the only ones this issue.
It was an interesting coincidence, not that it means much, but when they were making this video, it was during the first Gulf War in 1991. And obviously there was some protest footage in there. And then we were editing and conducting interviews for this segment about video days during the second Gulf War. So
much control for a little kid.
It just happened to coincide, I guess. But
Paul and Jeremy point that out. It's funny. I think
For 20 years.
they point out the fact that right now there's the exact same group of protesters in front of the federal building in West LA, which is
same signs,
Yeah.
same slogans, same.
It's the same people.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Little guy,
Anyways.
always like just have incredible style. What I mean by style also is not just like how he looks on a board, but like deciding what tricks you want to do and be recognized for doing.
Rudy's interview was really cool. It was the first time I had ever met Rudy. He was actually a really nice guy, and
Yeah.
really welcoming and really
Just cordial and really open and really just happy to talk about this, this period and that he clearly enjoyed a lot and appreciates having been a part of.
Guy was actually supposed to show up, or not supposed to, but potentially was going to show up. Rudy said that he told he had spoken to Guy, and Guy told Rudy that he would stop by if he had time or something along those lines. And so we shot Rudy's interview and kind of waited around for a little bit and chit-chatted with him and gave Guy a call, but just never heard back from him. So it was kind of one interview that just slipped through where Gons didn't want to do an interview.
Yeah, he's more focused on his new. He's working on a crooked video right now, and Mark, I think one of the reasons why Mark is who Mark is because he's really focused on the here and now and what he's doing, and he's not, he doesn't dwell on his past accomplishments, and
I think what he said put it best. It's just he's trying to look forward and not back. He likes on video, but just doesn't want to look back at the blind video at this point, and his focus was on Crooked in their video, so it was cool. You
look at a guy like Mark, and he's been, contributing and helping change skateboarding, for
Jordan was
almost
he was fun to skate with because he was very
18,
laid back and
almost 20 years going now, and because when he came onto the scene in the mid 80s that I remember, he just revolutionized street skating. Street skating really wasn't even a thing at the time, and he legitimized that definitely, and just kept pushing, and kept doing things like starting a blind, doing this video, and just behind so many of the important changes and turns in the evolution of the sport and the industry and the culture, and he is who he is, and he's contributed. It's immeasurable what he's done for skateboarding.
Yeah, he was like our vert guy.
It's just keep an eye on the guy, man. He keeps going, he keeps doing stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with the Crooked video, because that'll be like his first real major video effort and that I can remember in a long time. So.
Yeah, since this. After Mickey and Kevin shot Jordan's interview this day, they got to go out and skate afterwards, and I think it's pretty cool. We got some new footage of Jordan, which is going to show up in our winter issue, most likely, if not our fall issue. So it's pretty cool that he's still skating and got some pretty good stuff out of him. So that's pretty neat. This clip was great. It was just typical of just like these guys. They're just in their own world and the here and now. And you asked Jeremy something as simple as just when we're talking about the blind video, who's your favorite skater in it, and he's not even thinking about it anymore, and he tells you who his favorite skater is in general, and it's Stevie Williams. So you can kind of hear Paul and their other friend Paul just laughing in the background because they knew he just goofed on camera, and we had to put it in just because of the funny clip. Those guys were really cool, and it was fun to work on that with them.
And it's funny because he didn't really go out and film a whole lot, but anytime he did something, it was just so perfect. Like any Jason footage that would come back was just so golden.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about Jason's style, and I just remember, there was something about just the way he would do tricks, and it could be a trick that other people are doing, but when he did them, you just watched, and it's one thing to see it in photos, it's one thing to see it on video, but if you were able to see it in person, it was something else, and definitely one of the sort of classic skaters of all time.
And especially watching him skate, really good experience right there.
Yeah, in the early '90s, like vert was getting our song. It was getting a bad rap, because there were only really handful of people who were really pushing vert, and it was the other vert styles was a kind of a carryover from the '80s, and
I have to cut you off soon.
You will.
Yeah.
I'm not done yet.
I know, but we're coming up to it.
But it's cool that those guys they skated what they skated, and they skated vert a bit. At the time, they were hanging out with Krishna Soy and skating his ramp, and they just put it in their video because that's what they did. This is a
Right
video
here.
of them doing what they do.
Right here, this clip, right there. tried to stop you, man. You just wouldn't let it in.
And right
There's
there.
Danny Way. That clip I was trying to point out was actually was our cover image, and the reason why we picked that image is for a couple reasons. First of all, we really wanted to show a clip that just really epitomized the blind video, and what we thought that was something that was just showed how much fun it was for these guys, and it was about style, and it wasn't necessarily like the gnarliness of it or the tricks per se, and it was really just the whole feeling of watching this video from start to finish. Well, that clip of Jason is actually him landing just an ollie when they're skating the Eiffel Tower banks back in like 1990 or 91. And what it is if you look on the cover and if you see it for a split second, is you can see Spike Jonze's shadow while he's filming Jason, which was just great. And Jason's coming down from a trick, and you can just see that classic Jason Lee style, which is great. And it's just such a telling thing of the blind video, and then more so he's smiling actually when he lands a trick, and it's just cool. You can see he just enjoys skateboarding, and he's filming with Spike, and we really thought that was just a great thing to really just sum up what the blind video was all about. And it was cool because Jason played such a major part of this article that we thought it'd be great to put him on the cover, even though it was really Gonz's company. That was the reason why we picked that image to put on the cover.
That, and I think Mark would be the natural one to put on there, and we like to try and mix things up a little bit and not always do the obvious thing, but
yeah, and also it's just so typical if you're ever going to show a skate shot to show it, mid-air or mid-slide, mid-grind, and so we kind of just wanted to go the opposite route and just show someone just on their board, not even in the middle of a trick, just enjoying skateboarding, because we thought that's kind of like what the blind video really is about. And of course Gonz does such gnarly tricks in it, but I don't think that's really what you take from the blind video as much as just the overall experience from start to finish of just
and funny little edits
like that right there. That's probably one of the most I don't want to say well-known, but the most
talked about.
Yeah, just one of the most amazing edits in skateboarding history, at least, in videos. It's that edit from the half cab to Gonz's backside ollie. It was all Gonz, and we had to leave it in there in this article. It's such a great thing. It just told you what this video was all about, and it was Gonz just being Gonz, and him, from his skateboarding to his touch, in actually editing a video. He had his own way of looking at things, and it was great.
Yeah.
So anyone who sees that edit and thinks that half cab in the middle of it cuts to a backside ollie and a mini ramp was fucked up, and we did it, and we messed up. We didn't. We had to show just Gonz's mind at work.
Yeah, kind of like what you're seeing right here. He's just pushing around. He's just doing this, doing that. And I think his part in the blind video, really summed up his skateboarding at the time. And there's so much stuff from Verta Street to banks to, ledges to rails, which were really new at the time. But then again, just like that stuff, surfing around on the street, and just the curb stuff. And
I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off while we're still on this part. This part we're talking about in the article as being the last day of filming for the blind video is really like some last minute stuff that Gon shot, and it's really cool if you read Spike's interview in Skateboarder where he talks about it. But more so when we worked on this, we found out that it actually wasn't the last day. There was one more day that Gonz ended up getting some tricks, and we didn't show that in here. We thought this had a little bit more of a story to it, just how many gnarly tricks he did in one day that kids could maybe relate to it. But in actuality, the stuff on that flat bar in the underground parking lot where he does like just a boatload of tricks on a really long flat bar, that was actually the last day. Apparently that was just right up the street from where they're editing the blind video, Spike told us. And so what our article tells you basically is almost a little bit off. We claim that the double kink and everything was the last day, when in actuality there was a couple tricks one night that got filmed. But
yeah, well, I mean, from what Spike was saying, the double kink and all that stuff on that day was done literally a month into editing. They were actually editing Mark's part, 'cause they edited the video from start to finish and were laying stuff in. So once they finished a section, they couldn't go back and change something at the beginning, for example. I mean, it was on the tape. You have to change everything after that. So while Mark's part was being edited, he had these ideas, and they went out and filmed that one day, like a month into editing, and he did the double kink and the other stuff on the bench and whatnot.
Which was just crazy. It was really just absolutely just so much skateboard history that went down in one day. And we didn't even show all the stuff. If you pay attention to what Gonz is wearing, there's more tricks in his part that we didn't show. And that was a thing we really wanted to focus on, was not just exposing this video from start to finish. So we used, I think, two 3 tricks and a line from that day, but if you look, he actually does 2 more lines, I think, and has 1 more trick, which is so gnarly. How many just crazy things he got that would just, change skateboarding from there on out.
I think this is probably the most famous clip in skateboard video history. The car crash.
Yeah.
A pretty amazing idea, but kind of dangerous. If you notice, one of the camera angles is from over the edge of the cliff, with the car coming over, and as much as they try to rig the car and figure out where it's going to go, I mean, I don't think they could be that exact, and to be that guy standing down there with the car coming over the cliff, potentially right at you, that took some nuts. We never really figured out who exactly that was, but random street.
And then now thinking back,
person.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, I mean, as much of the video as you see in this segment, it's really nothing like watching video days from beginning to end, which you should all aspire to do.
And that's what this article was really about. It really was. It wasn't as much as we tried. We tried to make it exactly just not video days from start to finish, but instead of a behind-the-scenes view.
Yeah.
Just at what it was, and just kind of get these guys' takes on it, and just talk with them and get their viewpoints on making it to other people's viewpoints upon watching it, and Jason's viewpoint at staring at Mickey. That's what he's doing right there. That clip, if you watch that, it actually goes for honestly another 20 to 30 seconds of that confused look in Jason's eyes. And what it is he actually answered a question, and then Mickey went in with a pretty extended and detailed question that eventually would confuse Jason beyond belief, and that's why that look, what the viewer doesn't know is on the other end, Jason's staring at Mickey. There's Mickey right there. So now you're in our credits, and the video is basically over, and hopefully this director's commentary was a little bit better than our last one. So I apologize for our last one. We just absolutely didn't give a fuck, and this one's for Bob Kronbauer and everyone at Girl and Chocolate who just absolutely just hated our commentary last time. So me and Mickey just tried to make this one a little bit more organized, and something that maybe you could watch and listen to and take something from it, and not want to run out into oncoming traffic and get hit by an 18-wheeler instead. So
you mean Bob and those guys who think they're going to come down here and play ping pong next week and beat everyone here? Those guys?
Those are the guys.
Oh, yeah. They're going to get regulated. That's all I know.
We're having a little premiere party here in the building, in our little theater next week, and we invited obviously everyone that worked on this, and it's just kind of like a little private party for everyone that worked on this video, that was involved with it, and just some of the magazines and stuff like that.
If we had your phone number, dude, we'd have called you. But
yeah.
Anyway.
So you can check it out. I think we might make a little bonus DVD article for it, or else I think maybe some of the 4-in-1 filmers might do it and put it in 4-in-1.
Check out our website, www.onvideomagazine.com. See some photos from it.
This clip right here is great. This is Mark Ranstetter again. Just this shit that falls out of Mark's mouth is always just pure comedy. But yeah, so check it out. There'll be a little thing, a little like 2-minute piece in either On's fall issue for a bonus DVD article, or else 4-in-1 issue 60 or 61 for a bonus article.
Parents or
I don't know.
who shot that?
But what I'm getting at is in that you'll see all the guys at Girl and Chocolate get smoked. Because Ryan Marcus and Brian Groffler are the best at ping pong, better than anybody.
Yeah. Kenny's got quite a collection of hats. I think we should do a hat gallery of Kenny's.
Yeah, Kenny's favorite hat is equivalent to Muska's favorite boombox.
I like that Jackie Kenny Onassis inspired pillbox he was wearing it in this Japan ollie.
Yeah.
You know it was a Japan ollie because he went over a bar, landed in the street, and right when he landed, he hit the curve on the other side of the street. It was so narrow. So here's all the music in the issue. We encourage you to check out some of these bands and some of these labels.
Buy the CDs.
We've included their
and Colin
URLs. URLs so you can look them up on the web. A lot of the sites have MP3s you can steal. Check out. And Doug Thompson, our music director, sourced the majority of this, and Winco has some interesting musical context, and so.
And of course, thanks to the guys at Girl and Commonwealth and whoever for letting us use that stuff with Jason. I think the Jason singing and
Andy Jenkins of Milk.
Yeah, and that's wasn't it. Get Team X. So that was great. It was really cool. It was a key part of the blind article was the music, and we of course couldn't get the rights to things like Jackson 5 and John Coltrane, but it was really cool to at least get one song from the video, which was Jason Lee's song, which was Andy Jenkins and Jeff Tremaine, which is I thought really cool. And that's it. There goes the sunset, and our issue's done. Thanks a lot for buying this issue and bearing with us as we talked for an hour. About nothing and everything. Goodbye! Can everyone hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. Look, it started.
Should we call dog?
Call dog.
Yeah. You are now witnessing the exquisite time lapse of Mr. Dog Ingleson.
Hey.
Dog, we're watching the time lapse right now. It's commentary time, buddy.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
We're watching time lapse.
You guys recording this?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Tell us a little story about the snow.
Well, the birds are actually a bird feeder at my grandparents' house in West Virginia.
Cool.
And a lot of the time-lapse footage from on video ends up coming from there because I always take my camera with me when I go there for business. At that point, I just saw some birds out on the porch, I guess, and filmed them, and ended up thinking it looked good.
Yeah.
Speak up, dude.
Tell us about Markovich's nose pick.
Yeah, we're well past the time lapse now.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
You're gonna have to speed up the pace.
All right.
Just go ahead and hang up.
Actually, all this footage is all this last minute is everything in this. Like we were originally gonna do someone else.
Yeah, it was in a desperate scramble. But
Come on, dude. We had like 3 or 4 different people for the winter entourage,
Yeah.
and then
there's a couple of things about this montage people might not know. First of all, come on.
who is she calling?
At least pick it up. It's the worst commentary ever. The kids aren't going to listen to it at this point. I'm going to talk over the phone. The point is that originally the entourage was we were hoping to have it star in the very intro, Chris Markovich, and what turned into Chris Markovich training footage snowballed into the whole Hollywood team training footage, which then snowballed into Hollywood having their whole
Entourage.
whole very own entourage.
We were stressed too because you'll see later the second entourage we weren't even planning. That was just like a fluke. Like, we ended up getting more and more footage the whole time, didn't we?
Yeah. You pick that phone up.
Who are you calling?
There's this constant phone ring.
Come on, you guys picked the switchboard room to do your commentary, and you gotta expect to hear something.
All right, tell us about this, Kevin. Kevin Barnett's the person we're talking to right now who edited this part. So,
we're supposed to use we're trying to get a rap song or like a more hip hop song for.
That's right, with the Nosdam guys.
With Nosdam, who does like probably
Anacon guys.
He does probably 90% of the on soundtrack. If you look at it, pretty much the last like 4 or 5 Pro choices, most of the feature articles, all those beats are on Nosdam. And then he was supposed to turn in a more hip hop themed entourage song, so we haven't done that before.
I have to interrupt and point out the slam
Yeah, we had a perfect one of that, but we decided to use the hands down version because it looked better.
This entourage clearly takes the cake as the most hands down ever in a video part.
It's so good. Okay, back to the song. Sorry. And then, the Hollywood guys don't really mesh well with hip hop or rap or anything there, but we wanted to do something that wasn't just guitar rock because we've had kind of the same kind of guitar rock montages the past like 3 or 4 issues before this. So.
Better hurry down.
I found this song Bright Eyes on a trip to San Francisco, and I like it, and we use it for the entourage, luckily, even though he's on Sony.
That's your first introduction right there to our new graphics package, a la John Bradford.
Responsible for me quitting vert skating.
all the ramps in San Diego at that time.
Was this stuff a struggle at first for you to make, Sean?
Actually, that's wrong right there. So I don't think we're watching a final version.
No, but they don't know that because they're going to see the final version.
They can only
Oh,
hear
no,
us
it's
talking. They can't see what
beautiful.
we're watching.
Yeah,
so.
it was a big struggle.
I just wonder if Steve Barrow remained the vert skater, like, would he ever have gotten into acting?
I don't know.
I guess he would have had to like act cool as a vert skater.
Either that or being a vert skater pushed him into finding a second job.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, how long are you, I mean, I don't think people really realize how long the interviews are, because a lot of the interviews we have, we only use like, you know, maybe 30 seconds of people, and they end up, and they're 3-hour interviews. Like
You shot that interview, right?
Yeah, and that interview was like an hour.
Yeah.
That interview was long, and we only use, what, 20 seconds maybe?
Everyone thinks I'm a weirdo, but they're probably right.
Either there's a lot of really good footage that people aren't seeing, or these people are really, really uninteresting.
Board. I always have to explain to them. I would, but back in 1988, when I was a kid, I started saving all my boards.
Come on, dude. Kristen's gonna see this and be mad.
Look at that firewood.
He does have a DVD player.
Oh, never mind. We can talk all that smack.
Can you imagine how angry his mom is? When are you gonna get those damn skateboards out of my garage? But Mom, that's my collection.
This was a real fun era here. This was all.
This is an article that Dog actually went out went out to Cleveland, Ohio, for only 2 or 3 days, and shot this whole article with Christian. Christian was out there shooting an interview for Transworld, which probably will be coming out right around the same time. And they met up at his house. This isn't where Christian lives anymore. This is his parents' house where he keeps all his boards.
Keeps the Rip Grip collection there too.
Yeah. So Dog, the guy that shoots a lot of our interviews and the guy that shot the intro, went out there and met up with Christian and just shot this interview with him and just filmed a bunch of visuals of his board and basically managed to make an article out of a pile of boards.
It's kind of, there was a Slap article about, he had a Slap interview, and his Slap interview, the very first page was a picture of all his boards, and then I think a description of all of them. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he described, like, all of them were listed, I think, in that Slap article. But
You guys know it's kind of cool. What's cool about this is since I write for a Black Label now, so this was my first.
You may not realize it, but oftentimes when you hear some of this classic music in the videos, you have to realize that these bands and record labels and stuff let us use this stuff, and so big thanks to all of them, and especially to Amy and Ian at Discord for coming through for us on this, because that was a huge contribution. Christian being a big fan and all.
So I realized I had to get a job. So that's when I started mowing lawns. So this whole era here is when I went to California for my second time. I moved to San Francisco. I had no money when I lived there, and I broke boards all the time. I used to buy these blank boards, and I used to draw my graphics on them. And that's when I met Ed Tumpton.
Did you ever flip like the radio dial and just find that station that was just dead air? And then like randomly after about 5 minutes, you hear some dudes just start talking again.
Wings blowing up.
Ooh.
It'd be kind of rad if director's commentary was just us watching the video where there's no talking. You can just hear the video a little bit in the background.
that's it.
Should we call Dog and talk to him about his slow shutter speed?
Oh. Dog Evenson. Okay.
Call him.
Dog Evenson. He won't pick up. I'm afraid he won't pick up. And then he'll just.
Dog, the guy who shot this article again.
He's the pickiest guy, and he films the best time lapse you're ever gonna see in your life. But he will not film above 60 shutter speed
On a video camera, and you can see it, especially on the
board pans.
Yeah, not this footage. It's the footage of if any of the footage of the boards laying in the driveway.
It's like a big blur. It's insane.
You guys are lame.
When more interesting things started happening in my life, like when I started traveling places, if I went, here or there, I would write where I went.
See, Europe '99. Rode this on went to Japan.
To me, they're just photographs.
My Slap cover right here.
I think I've probably got like at least 250. When I'm an old man, it'll be cool to look at them and remember the old times.
It's cool, you know, like right now being able to lay all these boards out, it's like memories, man. You look through all these boards and you remember all these times in your life that you don't have photos for, but I have the boards for.
I love that
I'm glad
Christian
I have
Svitek had a Rob Dyrdek
Most guys
board.
I know wish they had them. That's about it, man. That's my board collection.
I know, I think that's sick.
But Nodis could twirl around on a fire hydrant. How crazy is that? That's the greatest contribution to skateboarding, I think.
Can we talk then?
Welcome to the commercial section.
Oh, we can talk to the commercials. I like Nagy's stuff.
I like Xerox portraits.
Nagy's on point, dude. You can't mess with Nagy.
Patrick Nagy being the guy that edits these videos, or these commercials, and
the videos, the last video. And
watch this guy slam. Not that. Have you seen this?
Oh, the on the
John?
neck slam?
Yes.
Back of your neck?
Oh!
If you fall hard enough, you get on Black Label.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's do this. It's a real deal.
Dude, this DC commercial is so on point.
Oh, I know.
This just reminds me why we need Dyrdek back in the video all over again.
And skateboarding to
Ah, wait. Didn't come out right. I think we should start over.
What are you talking about?
Dude, Josh, man. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, rarely, you know, in the skateboard world does someone just put it. He's out of the photo.
This ain't working, dude.
Alright, get him out. Do you know how much money you just wasted? This is film. This isn't video. We're not at Love Park doing tray flips.
We're not at Love Park.
Stay focused.
Kirk edited this commercial right here. And I might add that he did it day before mastering of 4-1.
I think it was the same day. As they were mastering, I was trying to beat the tape by getting to.
It's a really good commercial. His friend Joe, I think, films all this stuff, all the film that you see of BAM. But his friend Joe Franz filmed all this stuff. He does a good job.
in Philadelphia.
What's that? Big, huh?
Can we lose all our advertisers by talking over the commercials and just...
There's probably a decent chance of that.
Oh, I remember I have to write Manchuria a letter to get into the country today and email it back.
Oh, this way.
Oh, look at that.
This is another.
Did Nizzy film all this stuff?
Yeah, Nizzy filmed. Mark Nisbet, senior cameraman and editor at Formula One. He does all the work for Lely, all the video work. He shoots all the photos too. He's on every ad so far.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's
I had no idea. I haven't seen much 16 out of Nizzy, so I was kind of psyched when I saw this. I didn't know if it was him or not, but it seems good.
It's really good. All his stuff is really good. That was Josh Friedman.
I'm down for any video commercial that's made up of.
Oh gosh.
We had to. BAM sent us a version of this censored. He said.
That cop looks like Tony Hawk.
But I had to go back and edit stuff out.
Yeah, this is the censored version that you still had to cut all the cussing out. And
there's so much cussing and
male nudity.
There was female nudity, I believe, too.
Yeah, this is the tame version, by the way.
This is the funniest.
Which is actually a comment.
Thanks.
We had quite a few advertising problems this issue between this, Duff's, and
Duff's.
Farrah.
I forgot about Duff's.
Dirty laundry. These are girlfriends' underwears.
You guys got the new Knock Kill CD?
They have the ultimate ban, and if you say one more thing, I'll pull your face off.
Watch your mouth, sweetheart.
That's Brandon Novak, right?
Who?
Brandon Novak.
That's the voice of Josh Freeberg that you hear right now.
With that.
Yeah. This is a deluxe director's commentary because we actually have in the room an executive producer of On Video, Josh Freeberg. The man who single-handedly edited the first 90 issues of Full On.
Ironically, we're watching a Full On commercial. Who was it?
That was for you.
Who was it?
It was Doug.
Oh, call Doug up.
Oh, get Doug on the horn.
Doug Thompson's key.
Doug, speak up.
We're in director's commentary right now, buddy. You're the music director of On Video.
Music director's commentary. Doug,
I got a question.
come on down.
Got a question.
What is it?
There's a little glitch.
Okay.
There are no such thing as glitches in On Video. What's your next
Just
question?
late videos.
Brooke said to run with it. It's sneaky on that little sneaky preview.
Me and Matt get to skate together.
Run with it.
Okay, run with it. Okay, we're admitting one mistake in the video.
No, it's
Yeah, that's fine. The funny thing is, you're asking us about a glitch while we're recording commentary, so now the outside world knows about that glitch.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
Oops.
I have to start over.
Those are my favorite graphics right there, the pink.
Love pink.
I've been out in Australia for 2 years, and everyone's like, when you coming back to the States? When you coming back to the States?
Oh, where do we begin with Dustin and the drama of this part?
Gosh, this part was so gnarly.
Dustin gave us this footage months and months ago. First of all, I have to start off by saying we got this footage so long ago, and it is still so good, and it's still seconds footage. And on top of that, it got pushed a whole issue just so we could put it in our winter issue and give it the proper amount of coverage, because this is kind of our bigger issue. And so, first of all, it got held, then the issue was late, and then on top of all that, there was a huge problem, to say the least, with songs. No matter what song we picked, Dustin wasn't happy with it, and anything Dustin wanted, we legally couldn't get.
But
we sorted it out, though.
We sorted it out, and we ended up using the same song that's in a Diesel ad later in the video.
So after all that, every drama, this is probably the very last part that gets edited, is finally done, and then we get the commercial, a last-minute commercial from Diesel and Steve Barra today, and we drop it in, and it has the exact same song, and it's just so late in the video that basically Diesel and Dustin and Barra are all.
But of course, when you watch the video before turning on this commentary, he didn't notice that.
No, he did not. And plus, Dustin's part is first, so you're thinking Barra copied us.
A year ago for our winter issue, we used a song in the montage, the intro, that we had to take out because it was a song that Barra was using for something else also. So apparently there's a secret little conspiracy world between Barra and On's music.
I think he's just on our wavelength.
Yeah.
I think a conspiracy theory. We could get Mel Gibson in there, and it could be like the part 2 of that conspiracy theory movie.
Julia? Well, this is actually by the main guy in The Faint, which was the montage last winter, which is a really good song. It's always a song people remember. This is one of the guys from The Faint, the main guy, I guess.
Oh, and there's footage that we didn't use in this that we saw that's really gnarly too, that they asked us not to use.
Oh, how much death is in that trick?
None for him.
True.
Love the pink.
There's those graphics, John Bradford.
Solid transition.
John Bradford?
Yep.
This pro's choice is shot by Joe Kralik.
My favorite skateboard
And the cameraman for 21, sharing his talent with on video here.
He was in Hawaii for a while with Chris Ortiz, and they're shooting a profile for an upcoming issue with Jeff Hartzell. And
It's actually during Donnie's day.
that's what it was. Thank you. I couldn't think of what it was.
Yeah. It was in Donnie's Day in the Life is when they shot it, I guess.
boss. And it's definitely influenced me as an artist. Yes.
Go. Awesome board. That came out in '79, by the way, so if you're thinking how rad that graphic looked.
And it's by Wes Umston, who was later in the issue.
Yeah, you can see Wes
this is my...
This line of Bastion right here is
so old.
So old. This is from the first year that On started. Ricky Biedenbach filmed it when he was still working for On full time, and they held it. There's Ricky right there.
Oh, Pete Eldridge. Sorry, I gotta interrupt. Pete Eldridge is in on video. I think every on time.
Come on, dude. I was talking about how old that line was.
I'm sorry.
Ricky filmed it so long ago, and they asked us not to use it for the flip video, and then they forgot they even had it. The flip video's been out for a year now or whatever, and Ricky brought it up that he still had it, and we asked Fred and Jeff, and they were cool with it, so we used it. It's a year old, and it's still better than any trick in the video.
And all this New Deal stuff is super old, left from their video, also filmed by Ricky Biedenbach, who edited and filmed most of that video. Very good video.
And this is footage we're not supposed to use at BAM because he's holding it for his profile for the next year's winter issue.
So here it is.
Maybe we'll get to see it again.
It's a little preview.
Yeah, we had to pick this trick. It's for the East Coast Love from BAM to Ricky Aurora.
How dangerous is that trick?
Just the fact of using just some classic animal footage of Ricky Aurora.
I think that I filmed more of this montage than anything. This is me screaming right here.
First montage has tons of hands down. This one has 1 foot off a board, and we still use the trick.
Look at that. Oh, that is insane. A nollie. What is that? A nollie?
Is that a double?
Double.
Omar.
By the way, it's Tony Hawk's private rep.
And there's the Birdman himself, the Nighthawk. This is super old. That was from the spring issue.
2001.
The Hobbit issue. And as is that.
Did you know that? This picture's from the spring 2001 issue.
Yeah, you guys are on point with that.
Yeah, we're just keeping stuff, for future.
We're just holding it for...
On video's timeless.
This originally was like a shoddy montage, in my opinion. Like it started out with just my footage, which
yeah, but
I
I
just
get
had left
the
over.
typical Mark Branstad tape that always shows up with stuff like that. Mark Branstad is our East Coast filmer. Guaranteed every time hooks us up with this.
You can tell it's Maldonado even with that huge thing of haircut.
Right.
It just instantly by the way it skates.
This is so old. That was filmed for a New Deal video, like for Kenny's part, but it never got used for no reason.
This? Do you remember how old this is? Do you remember getting this, Wayne?
Last winter. We got it last...
We've been waiting on that trick for a year. That showed up with Cairo's last...
This is really old. Yeah. This is old.
Mark filmed that for us in '91.
We've been holding on to that one for a long time.
Oh, Allison came in last minute.
What?
Last minute, Allison came in and said, yeah, I want this in on. I want, I'm really psyched.
Should we say the surprise for the credits of what happened while he's trying to be able to 5 up?
Yeah, say that.
You might have to leave, but not tonight.
You see him at the beach every fucking day, trying shit.
Get your hands up now. KRS about to show you how. Yo, what's up? Africa Band Bottom, big up. Raekwon, you guard. Yo, Biz, what's up? You crazy. Prodigy. J. Rue, what's up with you? Guru. Flavor Flav. Look, we're gonna do this. Come on now. Get off of your ass.
The album is finished and available only in your local skateboard shops. February 11th, 2003.
Brought to you by 1212 Records.
Oh, this commercial is...
Cadillac Treehouse.
Oh, it said audio 4-in-1 ad.
I know.
They changed it to on ad.
I know, they're weak.
They can make fake Ferraris and a computer animated Ferraris, but they can't change their font from 4-in-1 to on. This commercial is so extended.
It's so good. It's so gnarly. Look at that. John, how gnarly would those graphics be to do?
Gnarly.
Buy some shoes.
Need the money.
Rockstar Games presents Midnight Club 2. Midnight Club 2, coming soon for the PlayStation 2. Rated T for teen. Pre-order now to avoid disappointment.
Just in case.
Oh, and I don't even want to talk about this commercial. So it's just going to be quiet during this. Oh, come on.
It was worse before this. Like it was
Is it a message?
Yeah.
Notice, it's Kirk and Kevin and John and Wing and Josh and Mickey. It's Thursday night at 6 o'clock.
When I was
and
in 6th grade,
we're recording the director's commentary for
On Video Magazine?
Yep. The winter issue, the one you're in, you're coming up. And we're trying to talk over Barra's diesel commercial right now because he's using the same song as Dolan's part. Call us back at extension 201. Bye-bye.
But I remembered all the details my mom told me about a trip she took to
That's Barra's Park right there. That's where we filmed the
So
interviews.
the next day, I got in front of
Post
my
choice
class
and
and told my
Oh, it
mom
is, huh? I never noticed that. It's a sick clip.
We actually filmed a Nodis interview with
I wanna
Barra,
take you on a vacation.
who
You don't have to lie about it.
was kicked off 101.
I don't know if he got kicked off or he quit.
Something happened where
He was a token verse skater, and then he converted, and they needed him to
converted. Well, anyway, he left and
What's this for?
Transworld DVD. For that one with Mumford on the cover and Musk on the cover.
you know what? They should re-release Modus. How good was that?
How many commercials is this band?
3. There's 3 band commercials. Or 4 with this. It's like the BAM issue. We don't have
a quarter of the commercials.
We should just put BAM on the cover, like special BAM issue, because there's a bunch of commercials.
Not even. He has one line in the actual video. Well, who does this stuff? Who shoots all this stuff and who edits this? Holland?
I don't know.
It's good. We have a mystery.
Here, call his cell phone.
John Holland?
No. Oh, this commercial. Have you seen this commercial yet?
Yeah, it's
so good. Have you seen it, John?
Yeah, I think I did.
Just switch your 60 foot better than 99% of people can't regular.
Here's Falling Snow. Commercial edited by one Cole Matthews.
And Josh Freeberg. That's Josh Freeberg right there.
Oh, that was Josh.
Yeah.
He's the human helicopter.
Do everything a
Call
retired
him the man
person
cop.
does. Retired.
The Mopter.
Got 900s.
Hey, why not?
Standard. Palmer.
Is that a Benihana? Benihana on a snowboard is so...
Best cover shot yet.
I know. So American with that cover.
Snow 5 video is really good. Join Army.
Come on, dude. Nodis is part of the story.
No, I'm calling Nodis right now.
There's 2 things that happen to you.
Nodis, it's Kirk and the rest of the crew. We're here in the office right now at 411. Call us. It's 714. We're doing director's commentary.
You're seriously putting the phone number to phone on.
And we want you on speakerphone during the commentary at least. So call us back. It'd be great if you actually called while we were doing it. So we'll be here waiting. We're not going to talk until you call.
There he is. Kids, make sure to call that number to win free stuff.
Extra stickers.
It's gonna suck when you're working 201 and kids just calling.
You just ruined Edit Bay 1.
I'll bleep it out.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have any questions about editing videos, call that number and ask for Winco.
Nodis' his mom.
So here's Nodis. I mean, at least on
That's
the
not
screen. Well, Mrs. Nodis.
Everything, but they were so enthusiastic and
I've actually spoken to Nas's mom before about maybe 16 years ago or so.
Oh,
I used to
really?
prank call him from Kansas.
Right, because they're.
How'd you get a number?
That was you?
His phone number was listed.
Oh, his number was listed and you called his house when you were a kid?
Landers did that too.
Josh Greenberg prank called Nodis Compass.
We didn't really, it wasn't really a prank
on
call.
video wipe?
It was just, we couldn't get a hold of Nodis, so we wound up talking to his mom, which kind of turned into prank calls.
So Nodis, if you're listening, that was Josh.
Yeah, she was really nice all the time. She'd answer our questions. And
That's awesome.
we'd ask where Nodis was. She'd tell us.
I played skate park, Oakland, California.
Nodis's part was probably the most difficult article to work on yet.
It was difficult because of the time frame. Trying to
Do you think just
slap it
because
together in 2 months?
and how much footage we had to use and how many photos and I feel like we dug into the interviews on this one way deeper than we ever had on any other article.
The thing is, with a guy like Nodis and everything he's done, and especially with his background and where he comes from, and the background of just that environment, there's just so much you have to get into in order to really tell his story. That not only did we have to go and research all that stuff and get these interviews, but then figure out how to portray that visually, because Nodis started his career, in the early '80s when there were magazines and photos, but no one was really shooting video. So.
Not even films though, hardly.
Right, and I mean, this is all most of the footage here that you're going to see is pre-video. It's film.
I'm Nodis.
So it's when you're looking at a lot of still images instead of seeing all this really early footage, it's because it just didn't exist back then. Skaters weren't out filming all the time; they were just skating, and once in a while there would be a photographer there to shoot something. But that was the exception at the time.
I mean, he was the first person at 50/50 in handrail, right? He was the first person, and there's no footage of it anywhere.
The radar of the skateboard industry. But Nodis was making quite a name for himself in Santa Monica, using a new approach that involved only his local street environment.
It didn't go to pools and ramps and skate parks that much. There was a couple of little banks by the house, but it's mostly like the curbs in front of my house and benches.
You'd see him at the beach every fucking day, trying shit. And that's what Skipper loved about him.
They were tearing it up like surfing kind of style on anything, and it wasn't just that they needed banks anymore or a pool or something. I mean, it was a whole different kind of skating.
I remember the day that Nodis actually decided that he could ride walls.
Everybody did this thing where they would run up to walls and throw their skate on it and kind of ride on the wall. And that was kind of the state of things, you know what I mean? And then one day, he's not using his hand. So he's skating right up to the fucking wall. And bang, he's up on the wall. And he hangs up there and he skates off. It's like, motherfucking little bastard, Do you see that? Unbelievable.
Nodis soon caught the eye of Dogtown media wizard Craig Stesic, who photographed him on a wall in Venice and sent the pictures to Thrasher magazine. Nodis had never even owned a Thrasher at the time, let alone been published in it, but they were so impressed with the photo that they decided to put him on the cover.
And there's sidewalk, and then there's wall, and then there's this guy. And we're going, yeah, all right, he's on the wall. How did you draw him in there? I mean, come on, we know collage when we see it. Oh no, the guys really do this. And it was like, no way.
You just looked at it and you realized that his internal gyroscope was so different than anybody else's.
I think he made it more three-dimensional, street skating.
As Nodis acquired more coverage in the magazines, the more progressive skaters of the time also took notice.
The first time I seen him was in the magazine, and he had big bar striped shorts on, and he's all aimed to pivot on the bumper of a car.
And that was just like, what? How the hell did he get up there?
Isolated in his own environment, his skating was out of sync with the trends of the sport in the early to mid-'80s.
Mostly the magazines had vertical skating. The guys we liked a lot were like Billy Ruff. On vertical, Billy Ruff was like completely smooth. So when we would skate quarter pipes or any transition, we were trying to be smooth like Ruff. When we went to the quarter pipe, we saw Nodis there. And like when he came up,
He had a sweatshirt on because he had a bad haircut. He said.
Oh really?
Yeah. He said that he didn't want to be interviewed with his hair like that, so put on a pink sweatshirt on his head instead.
Did his hands have a bad haircut also?
How sick is this line?
I don't know.
Does that explain the gloves?
He's got hairy palms.
This line depicts surfing so much. It's insane.
Another thing about Nodis that people probably don't know is like people take for granted that you skate all kinds of different stuff these days. And you know, when Nodis came along, I mean, he was just in his own little vacuum skating in his neighborhood, and he hooked up with guns every once in a while. And what they did together was amazing, just what they came up with. But I mean, at the time, it's like you skated transitions, either pools or ramps, or you skated just on the street in maybe a curb. You know, like falling off of stuff wasn't, or over stuff wasn't really done, or you know, just let alone walls or handrails or, you know, ledges or anything like that. I mean, he really helped take skateboarding off just the, you know, the one-dimensional flat ground and up onto, you know, the things you do find around the street, and help just really change the sport in that way.
I think a lot of these tricks, dude, frontside wall rides, that's a hard trick. Like,
He does them really high too.
I know.
David Brooks, come on in.
Executive producer of 411 and on video.
David Brooks,
David
aka
Franklin
the golden voice of 411. Here he is. Come on, speak up. If you guys listen really quietly, you might hear David Brooks in the background. Or is it an Easter egg? If you can watch the
movie film.
What issue is that?
51.
If there's an issue
51.
of 411.
51.
Issue 51. If you're watching the contents while
The DVD.
If you hit enter while watching the contents, while watching the DVD, it doesn't work with VHS, unfortunately. But if you are watching the DVD and you hit enter while the contents are rolling, I think it's Rodrigo Texiera.
Yeah,
actually
that's what it
writing.
is.
It's while Rodrigo Texiera is writing. He does a nollie up these 3 stairs and then frontside flips at like an 8.
You're wrong. It's when Colt Cannon does his intro.
Oh, it's Colt Cannon. Okay. Anyways, if you hit enter during Colt Cannon talking, it will switch to a new intro, and it's David Brooks instead of Colt Cannon. We're getting way off the subject of Nodis.
We're on to somehow 451, but
wait, we're on to the Easter egg subject. In case you kids don't know, Easter eggs are hidden articles on DVDs that has very many of those. Me talking, learning to talk now. Very many of those.
There are lots of them in there.
Yeah.
How many hours is it going to take you to edit this part down to?
There's no editing involved, buddy. One
over.
fell swoop.
So while the kids are watching Nodis, they have an option to listen to you guys?
Yeah.
Yep. Unfortunately.
And your sweet voice too. You was chimed in with.
Wow. I'm sorry.
They pay extra for that too.
And if you want to hear David Brooks in person, just call 411, the same number you heard earlier, but call extension 3 instead.
Thanks.
he'll talk to you. He'll talk to you for days about skateboarding, BMXing, surfing, snowboarding,
and OC Thug Life. This dude grew up gnarly. Like
that trick is unbelievable.
Oh. Back to Nodis. Enough of Brooks.
Okay, yeah. No. Look at this.
Oh.
What?
Jump cuts.
I think that all this stuff, the way it's edited quick because that's how it is in the old videos. Like if you watch the old videos, sometimes they don't show them landing. Like it just.
Yeah, none of these early cuts, or like where you don't see Nodis roll away from something, is something that we did intentionally. It's literally footage taken from the videos, and it's how they edited it then. So don't get mad at us. Get mad at the 80s for being the 80s.
For being neon.
Yeah.
Just one more reason to hate the 80s.
Yeah. Except for the fact that Nodis and these guys grew up then.
And invented street skateboarding.
Yeah.
These days when guys do video parts, they'll go out and they'll film for, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it takes, to get all those individual tricks. Back then, guys like Nodis would go out and they would literally film in one day. They just go around and film stuff, or maybe 2 days or something. And
that ollie over the trash can I have to cut in is so gnarly.
The frontside 360 off the ledge in Venice.
Yeah, I mean all that stuff. Like it wasn't like he was.
Here it is though.
Trying it.
Dude.
Okay, and people were doing rail slides on curbs back then.
That
You have to
shattered-
understand that
Shattered
was-
everyone's perception of what could be done on a skateboard.
That was the 80s equivalent of Duffy's 50-50 on the double kink in the 90s.
That's an analogy, Kurt.
Thanks.
What's a modern one like?
Well, he has them written down.
Nate Sherwood frontside 360 pressure flip.
Come on, dude.
Sorry.
Boom.
I was at that football game.
Overtaking vert, Nodis' strong video part surprised everyone by generating the most response.
And people were complaining, like, oh, he's just a street skater and his board's selling that many. It was like the bizarro world compared to now.
But
That was Rick DeMontron you guys just saw.
I like
He's
how
nice
Kevin-
to recognize because
I like how Kevin's closest to the mic. Like
He's really angry and having
You can hear
a board out
everyone.
on Santa Cruz.
You can hear everyone.
You hear that?
I don't want to sit for the
We can even hear you.
Mofo, infamous thrasher photographer.
They wouldn't be happy with
Co-founder.
that.
There's an Nodis drawing. Funny thing about that Lithuania map is we have a map here in the office that Nodis drew and spelled Lithuania wrong. And he had to do another one. There was no H in the original Lithuania.
Can they win that?
It's a different pronunciation.
Lithuania.
Can they win that? Can they win that in the contest?
No, that's mine.
That one's on eBay.
I had that board.
Bradford auctioned it on eBay already.
I live in Long Beach.
Rapper used to wear his Nada shirts inside out to school. And that way it was, got him in trouble.
I actually got in trouble wearing a Nada shirt once.
You did?
I wore a Nada shirt to a YMCA camp, which is technically a Christian camp. And one of the counselors made me take it off because it said Satan backwards.
No way, did the counselor skate?
No, he came up. He said, "How could you wear a satanic shirt to a Christian camp?" And I just kind of.
Did you say, dude?
I said, "Dude, it's Nodis." And he's all.
Did you hand him the winter 2003 issue of On Video and said, "Read up, buddy"?
I actually did.
Watch the bonus DVD section.
You should have gone back inside and swapped it out for a King Diamond shirt.
See, most of the stuff is all film right here, isn't it?
Yeah. There's no video stuff until the Strange Notes and Reason for Living.
That was Streets Out Timothy contest, right?
Yeah.
And look at the noses on those boards back
That's
then.
what?
That's
Yeah,
What
it's,
noses?
Exactly. I mean, he was literally working on a 2-inch nose, doing all kinds of like nollie type tricks and stuff that, you know, kind of forced the technology to advance a little bit to extend the length of board noses. You know, it's the form that followed the function.
He invented the nollie too, didn't he?
There's a lot of interviews
He's throwing a
saying.
lot of stuff out right now.
No, he did,
Look at this
didn't
right
he?
here.
Because people used to think it was the Nodis ollie, or like no one knew if
Yeah.
it was the Nodis ollie, the nose ollie. Like,
That's the way I heard.
see, dumb reference back.
Seen this. We had no idea that anyone even thought like this. We all just stopped dead in our tracks.
That was Mike Beavis at that contest. That's when he watched the beach gear.
This is the first time that photo's ever been used out of a different context other than giving Mike V props.
He's giving him props. He was hanging out with those dudes.
I'm not saying it's
Have
like
you seen that
we
photo?
weren't harshing Mike V, but every time that photo's ever referenced, it's
That was
to
the
show.
longest curve ever railset at the time, by the way.
It's only about 2 miles from where we're sitting right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's right by the old building.
It's on the harbor.
Harbor and
Is
Baker.
it waxed?
No, me and Jerry used to skate it though.
Okay, that's a soft aluminum rail. Like
And
belly button
still
high,
has no
flat bar.
nose on his board either. If there's ever a time you're gonna sack a rail, it was that day. Your front foot's so coming off.
This is what, 5 years later? What do you boards later?
It's illustrative.
Yeah.
There he
There it
is.
is.
Copers.
They're the Copers.
Copers.
Kids might not even know what copers are. If you kids are watching this, which I doubt,
It's a plastic pipe.
it goes. It would lock onto your truck, so you could grind things. It was before people started waxing ledges and stuff. So your metal would grind on cement. So you would put this plastic thing on your truck, and it would grind.
Unless you had Z-rollers.
Then you wanted the metal to actually grab the cement, so you could roll in the cement even better.
True.
Everybody should be quiet for a minute so the voice of On Video could speak and say something.
Oh my
Wing.
Yeah,
God.
you're not talking much, Wayne.
We gotta talk about this.
Wing.
Nodis could twirl around on a fire hydrant. That's the greatest contribution to skateboarding, I think.
Really, that's how he skated. He utilized everything around him, and he had moves for everything.
Nodis' next video part, in Santa Cruz's Streets on Fire, had become a much anticipated event, and once again defined the level of street skating at the time.
doubts regarding your ability to lead them. The men lead them.
It's a little quiet right now because we're all still a little bit in awe of watching Nos's part. As many times, there's months we work on this article. Somehow when this song and when this skating comes on, you kind of just get a little frozen in time and just have to stop and watch it.
Lieutenant, there is talk pertaining interpretation of problems. Describe them. Problems.
This is kind of cool because I think I'm the only person, aside from David Brooks, that is, who didn't skate when this part came out. So I don't.
That's Kevin Barnett. You hear?
Yeah, sorry. And so this is like.
That's fucked up.
And but it's still like it's still rad to watch and still rad to like I still appreciate it a lot, even though I wasn't there experiencing it as it happened, you know. But it's still amazing stuff. So I don't know, I think that's kind of a testament to how good Nodis is and was and what he did.
In case kids don't know why Chris Markovich is in this article, something we don't touch on in this piece is later on we start to talk about 101, one of Nodis's companies that was huge in the 90s. Chris Markovich was one of the first pros in it, and we couldn't get a hold of the 101 video that had Chris Markovich in it.
No one has
Sadly, not even Nodis has the video.
Or Markovich?
Only Markovich didn't have it either. The only person we knew that had it but wouldn't let it leave his house was Jamie Thomas. And he wasn't being stingy with it. I understand. I probably would, if I was the only known person alive that had a copy of the 101 video, I wouldn't just go sending it out the door either. But so we don't ever really get to touch on Markovich in this article, which kind of sucked. But we had nothing to go off of other than just that 101 video, which we never got a hold of.
But his comments are well appreciated.
Here's the first appearance of video, isn't it?
Yeah, in this article.
Can you tell the difference? First appearance of a mini ramp too.
Oh.
Sort of a testament of the time.
And Nodis, who's a street skater. Oh, how gnarly is this mini ramp stuff? He went higher than Lincoln on that backside air.
Oh, I want a pair of those shoes so bad. Those patent leather red snakeskin shoes.
We planted a seed. Like, someone's got to think of that. Someone's got to think of every last thing and think about what it does when you see all
You know what's funny is when we shot that interview with Nodis at his house, Dog tried so hard to get him to change his shirt. 'Cause he told him he couldn't wear a white shirt, and just Nodis just did the like stand his ground and wouldn't change his shirt and wanted to wear that very shirt.
back that up with some artwork and just kind of get the whole attitude across.
The way I always saw it was Nodis kind of ran Santa Monica Airlines, you know, and it was gnarly. You'd go down to him and he'd take care of you and, you know, kind of tell you, here's what you're going to get for your board sales.
At the time, Nodis had more influence on SMA than almost any other pro did over their sponsor.
Tell us about those photos, Mickey, the black and white photos we keep cutting to.
We got a hold of, through Skip Engblom, Nodis' first sponsor, Anthony Friedkin, who's a fashion photographer in Santa Monica, Venice, Dogtown, and he was a guy who was around back in the day. And if you saw the film Dogtown and Z-Boys, all the black and white stills of the pier falling apart and of the guys, the original Z-Boys portraits and stuff like that. Anthony Friedkin shot all that. And then in the 80s, Nodis being the new sort of prodigy of the area, they got together and just shot some stills and portraits and stuff. And so in '88, when Nodis had his first interview in Thrasher, Anthony Friedkin shot that stuff. And a lot of those images you see here are from those sessions, and it was great that he was able to print that stuff up for us for this specifically.
While in New York, they also discovered an amazing young powerhouse named Sean Sheffy, who joined the tour and would later ride for SMA.
Sheffy was a skater like back in around 1990 that you would hear about, and just the stories that you would hear about him made him gnarlier than the gnarliest guy you've ever seen skating, actually.
And touched the lives of many up-and-coming skateboarders.
And at a demo, and we're rail sliding this box. And Gino Iannucci's one of the kids holding up that box.
Despite all the excitement Nodis and the team had generated on tour, they returned home to find that the 80s skateboarding boom had begun to fade. Undeterred, Nodis continued to push SMA and himself to new levels.
You can sense in this little bit right here just the
look.
The progression. Like the change in speed, just how much more aggressive he's skating.
That's actually
he hits everything a lot harder. It's like this sudden shift, you know, like in his style.
All this footage right here is footage that when we started to create Nodis' part, we had no idea it even really existed. Somewhere in the back of some of our minds, we knew that there's a Santa Cruz video out there. But it's funny because it wasn't until like the last month or two that we even tried to get it. Everyone kind of just forgot that this video even existed. I think it was kind of a little Santa Cruz video called "Reason for Living." I don't even know if they re-released it with the rest of their classics.
This stuff is so much.
But this is quite possibly when we got it, we couldn't believe it. It was one of the best like some of the best street footage we'd ever seen of Nodis, and had no idea it even existed.
And he skates pools. That's where that mini ramp footage was from, right?
Yeah, the indoor mini ramp footage from earlier. This street part, and there's a whole part that we didn't even show of him skating an outdoor mini ramp too, that just didn't even make it into this part, which is ironic because when we went into making this whole story on Nodis, we weren't even sure if we were going to have enough footage to carry the story, and we're a little bit leery of how many photos we were going to have to use. And then we started stumbling across different videos like Sick Boys from MacDog, and then these random Santa Cruz videos, which just helped out hugely and just unearthed a lot of unseen Nodis footage like this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and back in 1990 when this came out, it's again, this is stuff that no one really saw. I mean, with Vert still being, pretty equal in terms of stature with street skating at this point. Most of the videos and stuff that you saw, maybe you saw a Vert guy doing a line, but street guys didn't really do lines so much. And Nodis, all of his skating was just trick to trick to trick, at some specific location. So he would really kind of introduce the idea of skating lines and stuff. Well, he and Guerrero as well, but.
Yeah, I think it's something that maybe kids don't understand, that you never stop to think that there was a point when videos weren't the defining moment of your career.
No, you just I have to shoot some video for the next couple of days, for some project. And when Reason for Living came out, I mean, that was when skateboarding was at an all-time low, and it was it didn't come out at a time like the last couple of years where it was a huge market and they made hundreds of thousands of videos. It was just maybe a few thousand of them went out, and that was it. So
that's actually Dog. That's barking, coincidentally. The guy named Dog is and ironically, that voice you hear barking is Dog.
That graphic right there.
A lot of those graphics were done by Mark McKee and Sean Fiver, different artists who've done a lot of great stuff since then as well.
Costin. Look at that.
Nodis put it all together. That was his baby.
Oh.
There we go.
The gnarliest. No, nice to hear. So good.
Is that the last photo before he breaks his ankle? Sorry, I jumped the gun.
No, I said.
It's not like I just go straight to commentary. Not even watch it regularly. Just straight to commentary.
We need to hear more Wing right now.
I know.
The voice of on video.
Here's the voice right here. Speak up, wingers.
Talk about doing the drill sounds.
It's an actual drill, isn't it?
Drills from my house. That's fun.
That quiet, shy voice you hear is normally the voice that's hogging the mic all the time and talks throughout the whole video, and we can't shut him up. Mr. Winko.
One of the key things about Nodis, that hopefully the part conveys, is that in addition to all of his skating and the things that he really pushed and the envelopes he pushed and then the things he opened up for the rest of us on board, he also kind of made a lot of headway as an entrepreneur and a company owner and an artist, graphically and everything. He really pushed the envelope across the board. No pun intended. within the industry, within the business, as well as a skater. So.
Across the board is so on video.
First thing we worked on together was this Adam McNatt piece, and it was just this really sort of arty photo essay, and he laid the whole thing out. It was really great. He had these great sketchbooks. You know, we would sometimes just scan those in for backgrounds. I don't know, he's constantly doing art.
His hands-on experience with 101 and Big Brother was an education in itself. But Nodis's life and art began much earlier. Growing up in an artistic and eclectic community, his parents filled the house inside and out with sculpture, photography, and paintings. He was also influenced
Does
by...
Dad paint those? Is that who painted those?
Yeah.
Those paintings on the house are his dad, right?
Yeah, it's on the outside of the house.
Like, we don't. He lived in a house next door to his parents, right? Is that what happened?
There's Wes Humpston. He drew.
Don't know.
He drew that Shogo Kubo graphic you saw earlier in the segment, and all these classic Dogtown graphics as well.
And he drinks beer.
No, he quit, didn't he?
Yep.
Mickey saw him at the gym a while ago.
Really?
Or no? Sturt saw him?
did, but we're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Will you tell me later?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
This notice sign.
These are a bunch of like letters and just notes and stuff that people sent to Nodis that he just collected and created a collage of his own name.
And absorb things.
Mofo was the first to tell me what art direction was. He used to work on the ads for Santa Monica Airlines. And so I really got an understanding of, as he was molding my image basically and the company's image, it got me really thinking, this is how everyone sees us because of him. And so I was like, okay, art direction.
As his workload increased at World Industries, he slowly drifted away from 101 as Rocco's company became less fun and more corporate.
What started as more of a friendship thing and he was looking out for me became more of a business.
We're running out of stuff to talk about, aren't we?
I know.
We better call someone. Let's call 212.
That's my copy of Blunt.
That's Palmer, who coincidentally was doing the Benihana in the Formula 1 snow commercial you saw earlier.
Offices of Larry Flint Publications.
They scouted him out. They saw the layouts in Blunt, and they needed an art director for a new porn mag they were doing. It was called Rage. They had all these ideas about Rage, where it was going to be sort of more like Playboy. You know, it wasn't going to be so sleazy. But right away, Larry Flint gave up on the idea of it being this artfully done, tasteful porn magazine. So he just wanted it to be all raw with like girls.
These blue squares weren't actually printed in the original magazines.
We were pretty subtle with that censorship thing, huh? Couldn't barely tell her there.
It's for your own protection.
Yeah, we didn't even try to be like a little bit risque with those blocks. Like we didn't even let people know that they were wearing it. She could have been wearing a bikini and they wouldn't have been seen it.
She could have been wearing an evening
She could have
gown.
been a man.
Those blocks like just covered it all.
Actually fully closed.
It was all blue.
Abio. Road for Vision.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
While in Hawaii?
While in Hawaii. And when he first moved out, I think.
He and Nodis were old buddies. Nodis used to stay with him in Hawaii, and he used to stay with Nodis out in Santa Monica.
That shoe is such a good shoe. I had like 3 or 4 pairs. I love that shoe.
Beat was short-lived, but they put out some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, especially Nodis's shoe. Nodis's shoe was so cool to see because it was like almost like a 3D interpretation of all his artwork. Like it was his lines on his shoe, you know,
Yeah.
all the right like line weight and.
Do any more exist?
He said like when the company went out of business, they just sold all of them. Yeah, like just. So I think you could like pick some up at Ross or something like that. Which
They're on eBay.
Really?
Yep.
So much?
I always, if you check Nodis, there's usually a few pairs of Vita.
eBay kids. Go to eBay, get those Nodis Vita shoes. Stefan Janowski.
Quit going to eBay.
Graphics guru David Carson.
To start the full circle that just happened, he laid out a cover of me in Transworld. He's got amazing talent, he's a really good teacher, and now I get to work with him.
Despite his many responsibilities, Nodis still finds time to work on a project he helped found in the year 2000. Since our very first issue, he's been the hand behind On's signature script and illustration style.
That footage is filmed by one Kirk Deanda.
It's the only clip I filmed in this whole video, I think.
Yep. This is filmed by one.
Oh no, I filmed this. It's the very next clip.
Get it.
Bonnie.
That's back in 2000.
Strider.
Spring 2000.
Strider's a Santa Monica local that Nodis grew up with surfing. And Strider stuck with surfing more so than skating, and became pro surfer, whereas Nodis took the skate route and ended up being a
And that's just
surfer.
gnarly footage.
Even though he's
Gnarly.
getting tubed, still a great surfer.
Yeah. The question is, what would have happened if he would have remained a surfer primarily?
Associated with a pro career. Recognizing all his contributions to skateboarding, in 1998, Element released the Not As Cop as Pro Model, and Etnies is also set to re-release.
That's Mickey's fingers.
That's not his shoe.
You will have a board on Element. As long as you exist, you don't have to step on a skateboard ever again, because that's not the point. The point is that you stepped on one a long time ago, and when you did, it changed the sport, the industry, forever.
He was the pioneers, the godfathers of street skating that started it all and made it possible.
He didn't really follow what was the trend or what was cool. He kind of just marched to the beat of his own drum.
He has a reason for doing the things he does, and then people copy what he does.
He's just got the same thing like Gons. He's just got it. He doesn't have to really do anything but just roll on his board, and you're like, he's got it.
In the end, magazines and videos, they'll be forgotten, but it's the true heroes and icons and legends like Nodis and Gons that are going to endure. Those guys' names will go on forever.
Nodis hair.
How many people had Nodis hair?
I didn't.
Not me.
I didn't.
I was in military school.
I had
I was
it.
4 years old.
Dog did.
I had it.
Dog does. So do the
The tape's running out.
We do credits separate too, I guess, huh?
Yeah, we have to because the tape's running out right now anyways.
Look at that dissolve.
Uncle Nodis is the best.
I did that dissolve.
The dissolve was on point. That's the one thing Kirk added in this whole video.
Yeah.
I wish you got, honorary degrees, that sort of a thing. It's more lasting. It's your head, less physical.
Look at that, man. Look at that. You kids think I don't know, man. I know. I know about the struggle, man.
When I think of Nodis, I just think of someone, I just want to see someone slappy a handrail, you know what I mean? Just smash into it and take it out or hit the thing and you know what I mean? That to me reminds me of Nodis, And then smiling afterwards and being like, yeah, let's do that again.
Oh, I was talking to Jason Lee not too long ago. He said to me, when I knew it was over at the Houston contest, Eric switch 360 flip over the pyramid, I knew it was done. I'm having a hard time backside flipping it. with Eric because I had, and I lived with Eric. I've been friends with him now for like 11 years. Lived with him for about 6, up until I kind of got married. Him and I got divorced.
Alright, hello. Welcome to the Director's Commentary with special guest appearances by Mickey Vukovic. I'm Kirk Deanda.
I'm Mickey.
And
Watching.
This is our winter 04 issue starring the Love Park story, among other things.
Currently you're watching the staple of On Video, the introductory time-lapse filmed and edited by none other than Mr. Doug Ingvison, who filmed a lot of this on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, filmed this last winter in Virginia, West Virginia.
Yeah.
I think where his grandparents live and whatnot. And then, and we have Scott Kane opening the video. Mark Brandsetter, one of our basically Alan's main videographer, is also the bootleg team manager, so he's always out filming with Scott or Pete Eldridge, which is how Alan ends up with a lot of footage from those guys. And Scott basically had a bunch of footage left over from his bootleg part and was starting to work on our rookies for 4-1, and that was just some stuff that he wanted to do and kind of wanted to work with on a little bit.
Tell him a little bit about that Ed footage. The source.
You can.
Kirk had this thing about getting that trick of Ed for the montage, but for some reason nobody had a copy of 1281, the New Deal video, so we ended up having to go and get Ed Templeton's personal copy, and promise him with our own blood that we would return it unharmed. So that was from the source, so to say.
This song that we used in the montage was actually a pic of Kevin Barnett's, who now works for Ed Templeton and is doing the Toy Machine video. Kevin Barnett used to work full-time for On, but it's a song he found a long time ago, and we started, it was just a silly play on words since we're doing the Love Park story, just kind of a good skate song, just Goodbye My Love. Originally we thought we were going to actually use it in the article, but decided it was a better like intro montage type song for On Video, and kind of tied in the Love Park theme all the way into the beginning of the video. So,
I just want to say that Kim Cardona wall ride is probably one of my favorite wall rides I've ever seen. And let me tell you, I've seen quite a few over the years, but it's just nice to see people actually, I don't know, like everything's been done so much that people are finding new places to do it and new ways to do it. And as you'll see in the Love Park story, they're finding ways to skate stuff that isn't supposed to be skated and actually,
skating it.
Just keep it all going. So I guess that's the next step, since everything's pretty much getting shut down these days and everything's getting skate stopped or blocked or whatever people dream up to do to keep us from. I love that right there too. Do what we do, but this is a pretty interesting story. You want to tell them a little background on this?
This article is honestly over a year old. They filmed it a while ago. Kyle Camarillo called us and just told me about this article and said that he was about to start filming for this book that these guys were doing, and it was basically going to be just like this Junkyard Dogs article we had done, I think 2 years ago for On, and just kind of ran the idea by me and told me who was going to be there, and these guys at Slap were going to be doing this article for Slap, and this guy was making this book, and just thought it would make a great On Video article. And so he filmed it, but it got pushed from the Nodus issue last year, and then we ended up not doing the issue.
The fall issue.
Yeah, this issue, which it was supposed to go in. So it basically is we've been sitting on this article for about a year, but I think all the skating and just the idea of it is so much timeless. So I don't think anyone really even knows how old it is when you watch it.
Yeah, it's interesting the way it all kind of developed, because the project itself was supposed to be an art project, and Paul Sheik was going to document it and create this book based on what these skaters did, and the idea was skating being so intrinsically creative that if you take a bunch of skateboarders and put them in a situation where they're forced to create something rather than finding skate spots, chances are they're going to come up with something pretty interesting. So his idea was to document that, and so he was going to get a warehouse space with all this stuff and have different guys go in there more or less one at a time, and use the same group of objects, build something, skate it, then dismantle it, have another person come in, build it, skate it, dismantle it, and kind of see how different people take the same arrangement of stuff and create different obstacles.
I didn't know that was the whole basis behind that.
It was.
As you can see, I didn't really work on this article that much.
Originally, it was pretty. As it was explained to me, it was pretty well thought out. And as Jason Adams, mentioned, it turned out very differently. And so there was, some of the skaters initially had a hard time with the idea of doing something real sort of
individual,
doing something so planned out. They got there and they just sort of reacted to the situation, and they just naturally grouped together and said, "Hey, let's put this together," and they just kind of started forming their own little groups, based on their styles or their friendships or whatever, and got together to do stuff. And of course, Mark's off on his own deal always, but. So everybody was doing something different, but the thing was that everybody wanted to skate together and work on stuff together, and that wasn't the original idea of the book. And then Paul ended up just kind of, going with it, and to his credit, he let them kind of, do what was natural for them, and I think it turned out pretty amazing. I mean, just to see some of this stuff and what they came up with and what they're able to do on it, and as you can see in this piece, I mean, they're all skating something that they kind of came up with, but everybody's helping build it, and then.
I think that's what skateboarding is about, though. Is I think if you have each person do something individually, it doesn't work as well as how great skateboarders kind of fuel each other. So when you get a bunch of people together, I think everyone has separate ideas, but when they're brought together, it works out.
Yeah. But
that's my 2 cents. But like I said, I didn't work on this article, nor did I do the interviews.
Yeah.
But
the book is interesting too, because it is sort of split, down the middle, so that the top half flips individually, the bottom half. I don't know if you saw that in the clip, but it's sort of like the same way that these skaters came into this warehouse and saw a bunch of stuff and sort of interpreted it and moved things around to suit their own sort of vision. The reader, you pick up this book and you kind of have to turn the pages and figure out what images you want next to each other, and you can switch it around, and it's an interesting concept that sort of in a way mimics the experience that these guys had, it seems, in coming to this place and putting stuff together and deciding how to kind of approach it. So
and Ricky edited it. Yeah. Ricky Biedenbaugh, the guy edited it. It was the first article that Ricky has edited on his own, even though he didn't film it. But it was kind of interesting because Ricky was originally one of the original staff of On Video in the beginning, but I guess came back.
We kind of shanghaied him back into doing some stuff.
He's really good. He's done a lot of stuff for the 4-on-1s around the World Series and did the New Deal video, and he's got a great grasp on storytelling, which sometimes is a hard thing to tackle, and especially when he didn't actually film any of it. These other guys, filmed it with Kyle Camarillo and with the help of those guys. So it was really cool just to be able to hand Ricky this footage, and for all of us just to kind of sit around and talk about what the concept of the article was. Hand him a box of stuff, and he just went to work, and a week later had it done and did, I think, a really great job. He did a really great job at just stepping up and just picking up on style, and
it's really hard, particularly a story like this where you've got 5 minutes to really tell the story and show all the footage, and it's hard to really boil it down. I think he did a great job of capturing the essence of it. Having been at most of the interviews, there were a lot of other little side stories and things that could have been interesting to include, but that's the decisions you have to make when you're trying to cover something. Is you can show part of it and talk about some of it, but certainly you can't get at every little nuance of it. So he did a great job of capturing the essence of what everybody was talking about, and but if you're interested in that book, it's at you can find more info at diptychbook.com, and that info is at the end of the credits too, so you can wait and see it there.
Skateboarding commercials took just a whole different level. I don't even know how to, I'm at a fucking shitty loss for words right now. It's ridiculous. Nonetheless, this commercial is really fucking good. That's all. Here's my that's my commentary for today.
Jose Gomez at Audio, taking it to the next level. So as I say, just to kind of finish up with the Space Invaders story. That's the kind of stuff that's really cool to see. People just coming up with new ideas and new, like we were saying earlier, new ways to approach stuff and do things. And whether you're building shit in a warehouse or you're hiring security guards to take care of your business, it's cool. It's cool to see people doing different shit. It's cool to see Danny Way fucking throwing his body into the stratosphere. But some people will never stop. It's just their way. But
good.
Here we go. Wasn't this filmed at like the Hustler Casino or something? Yeah. L.A. Like 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
So.
I watched the raw tapes, and he was fucking wasted by like 7 a.m.
Jesus. Yeah, apparently. But whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. We allow wide latitude of creative freedom in our commercials.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my microphone at this point and let Mickey talk for the next 5 minutes about his most favorite article, which is only about his most favorite movie in the whole wide world. And so he's gonna take over right now, and I'm gonna start off real quick and just say that this was a kind of an interesting article, like that last one, whereas we just had a bunch of footage and. Anyways, Winco did this article, and it was really fun to have him just kind of come in and take, in my eyes, this really, I'll be nice. It's really obscure skate film with these really obscure interviews, and just hand wing this stuff, and he just, I don't know. He did a great job.
He put it together.
He did a great job, if you ask me.
Skipper Madness is a film that came out, well, if you've watched this little piece, you know all this. But anyways, I saw it in 1983. I was at the skate park, and a bunch of us went over to this little surf theater, and it was showing, and it had been out a couple of years. But the thing is, when the film was finally finished, that was when skateboarding had died in the early 80s, and so it never really had an audience. And as they said in the piece, as Stacey talks about, the film's all over the place, and skateboarding was changing and all this stuff. So there's all this really great stuff captured in this film, and if you watch it in an hour, you get like 25 years of skateboarding evolution, which I think is really interesting to see all together, and see some of the similarities and obviously the differences. And you see the old style of like freestyle, which was back then the technical skating, and then you got this gnarly pool skating and these ramps to wall, and so you can see how skateboarding really sort of took two branches. There was the technical and artistic freestyle and slalom stuff, and then you've got
I'm gonna go get some water.
the pool, and you go get water, the pools and ramps, and but that was the sign of the times. Skateboarding was changing, and this film really captures all that, and it's got some really cool footage, and it captures some of the really classic spots of the time. I mean, from Lakewood to the Arizona Pipes, which was really huge in the late 70s, and the Turning Point ramp, which was kind of short-lived, but it was actually created for that film. It's just some famous spots that people who were around back then remember. And if you weren't around there, it's that stuff. Those are spots that really sort of captured the imagination of skaters at that time, and kind of had a little bit to do with what happened later on and where people went with the sport and where they took it, and so it's a landmark film in that regard. It captures all this stuff that nobody else was really out there filming, and so we have this sort of document left over by Hal Jepsen to kind of look back and see, how skating was changing back then, and so I think it's really valuable for that. And then it's just a lot of funny stuff. I mean, I think Phil Hartman's narrations are just absolutely classic, and it's a historic document that I think really says a lot about where skateboarding was at. And it's interesting, I think, now to look back and see what's similar about it.
What's cool about this clip right here is I'm back, and we just had to find a random clip just showing like a half pipe during the 80s, and John Bradford literally just went into our tape room and just grabbed a tape that looked like it was from like the 80s or 90s, a VHS tape, and put it in, digitized it, and what we didn't label in that article was that's Steve Douglas, one of the owners of 4-in-1 and founders of On Video, that's skating there. But we didn't want to put his name in because we thought it kind of took away from the article, and it was also putting attention on the fact that it was Steve Douglas skating. So we kind of just left it as a no-name person, so you instead could see that it was a half pipe.
Half pipe, 80s, flat bottom, blah, blah, blah.
Another great thing. Sorry, I was going to tell the Nada story.
Go for it.
This, what's this thing called again?
Turning point ramp.
The turning point ramp. We had to describe this to Nadas to do an illustration that you'll see in a couple minutes for the article. And we described it to him, and Mickey drew one and emailed it to him or whatever. And what was really cool was once Nadas saw what we were talking about to give us the illustration was that Nadas wrote a note or whatever that he got to skate that when he was a little kid. So
yeah, before it turned into a greenhouse. But I was actually out trying to figure out where it might be these days. I believe it was a greenhouse somewhere in the local LA, Santa Monica area, but no one seemed to know exactly where. But certainly it's one of those things, if you're driving by the neighborhood, you pretty much see it from any vantage, within a couple of miles. So it's still missing, but if anybody knows where it is, get a hold of us and email us and let us know. It'd be cool to go check that out. Yeah, so the film was all over the place. This is one of those little tangents that goes on off on the claymation stuff. But,
which was the office's favorite clip of them.
Yeah.
It was playing over our intercom quite often. That claymation.
Yeah. But again,
claymation Nadas.
It's the it's the narration of Phil Hartman that really makes it work, I think. There were actually several cuts of this film released over the years. As they were making the film, they would show it and then add some more stuff to it and show it again. And the last version that I remember seeing had more claymation and just more weird stuff in it, and it got pretty ridiculous. But this is a cut that we got from Ira Opper, who does Longboard TV and some other surf stuff, and it's one of the more original, probably one of the better cuts of the film. A little more viewable and a little more, little tighter, I think. It kind of gets to the skating pretty quick, and that I think is really what this film was about. It was about the skating, and the stuff in between was sort of just to kind of get you there. So, anyhow.
This article is interesting in that it almost seemed like we worked longer on this article than anything else. Or I guess I want to say minute for minute, this is probably the most expensive article on video has ever produced. But it started off as it was going to be a full-blown 20-minute road trip on video style, kind of like our Russia trip a while back. And so, we sent Kevin Barnett and Dog Ingves in to basically document it. And it was a trip that Aaron Meza and I think Mackenzie Eisenhower put together. And it was supposed to be kind of like this just super tour of just individuals. So these guys, we basically sent these guys for, 10 days, 2 weeks or whatever, and shelled all this money and time and effort to have them go out there. And then we figured out we're not going to do a full-blown 20-minute documentary on the trip where it's going to make 10 minutes. Then we look at our issue, content in this issue, and we kind of realized that everything is really story intensive, and we just want a skate part. So then we decided we only want it to be about like a 4 or 5 minute skate part. Meanwhile, Kevin had edited probably about a 15-minute version, a 10-minute version. And after the 10-minute version, he was out of town, and Ricky Biedenbaugh had to help out, and had to turn into a 5-minute article, and he did that. Then after that, it's completely done finally. The most like just drawn out skate piece of all time, how much work went into it. After it's all said and done, we didn't get rights to one of the songs in here because of a tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, all right. One of the bands that we had used a song in here, they had actually gotten in a car accident and died, and so getting the actual rights to it was going to be a little hard. So we had to, after this article was completely finished, we had to go and change the music, and I went running to Doug Thompson, our music guy, and he gave us these guys TV on the Radio, which we also used the song for our credits. It was a good quick fix for this article. It's not as good of a song that was originally in there, but we didn't really have much of a choice. It was so late in the game. But the song that he gave us from these guys works really well for our credits, so it's a typical on-video credit song.
Yeah.
But so this article really has...
It's kind of like Skateboard Madness. It was edited several different times and
by several different people, and
had a lot of different people's fingers in it,
and a ton of different ideas of what it was supposed to look like. And, God.
But this is, again, it's the nitty-gritty of it. It's primarily the skating and a little bit of the context of the story. And if you want more info on what actually happened, you can always go back to the Skateboarder Magazine article about the same trip. And
Pete Eldridge is on the cover doing a 3-flip over that gap that you saw earlier.
Yeah.
On the beach. One thing that you'll notice, there's a huge mistake on our end. I think it's kind of funny once it was done, was we never actually even labeled where they are in France after all that. We had gone through and made such a long piece that was so over-descriptive in the beginning that by the time we cut it down and turned it into a 5-minute article, it had taken out the fact that they were in this city called Nice and Monte Carlo. And I guess I'm pointing out one of our mistakes to the viewers, but I think it's...
Well, our viewers are pretty perceptive, and they're thorough, and before they've even put the disc in, they've read the cover and the insert and everything, and so they know what's going on because we put all that info there too. So
you are right. And right here, Spanky says Monte Carlo. That's
So
there you go, Monte Carlo.
Thanks, Spanky.
Oh, there's a cool clip right here. What most people might not notice is there's a girl coming up, and if you take a split second to watch right there, Pete waves to her in the midst of a line. In the original edit of this article, it's actually in slow-mo, but we came to realize that nobody even knew why I was getting slow-mo'd unless someone pointed it out to you, so we took it out instead.
Yeah. So next time you watch it, just hit pause on your player and then just still frame through that section. You can pretend it's slow-mo. They're storing that by that ledge too, right? The wax ledge.
It was just part of the original cut.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really remember this. Oh yes. They need to skate that ledge for a photo. That's right.
Yeah.
That was originally part of the story too. The story behind that ledge was these guys had gone on a great skate trip and gotten just boatloads of footage, filming wise. But the problem was all this footage really didn't translate well into photographs, and they needed something more substantial like a ledge or a handrail or something like that, and not a line.
Yeah. It's hard to take a picture of a line.
So they found that ledge, and no one even wanted to skate it, and apparently they waxed it up for like a half hour, an hour, or something like that, just to get Pete to nose slide it for a photo.
Yeah.
But in the original edit of this article, which was about 20 minutes long, we got into that and described it. But like I said, we just had to cut this article down to a more skate-heavy article because this whole issue was talking almost, and we didn't want to make you have to listen to talking. You didn't want to.
Yeah.
This clip of Stevie that you hear right now, if you're watching the normal version, also never ended up getting used in the article, but it was still a great clip because it's just Stevie talking about going to Love Park for the first time. But whatever.
Yeah.
This is a great commercial, I think. It's funny. Did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny seeing, the companies that are producing commercials, every issue or for On and maybe for 4-in-1 and for whatever else they use them for. they're really starting to put a lot into them and come up with interesting concepts. You see like this, or you see the audio commercial, or they really stand out, and they're not just footage with a logo. And it's kind of similar to the way ads used to be. If you look at a lot of old skate ads, it's just like a photo with a logo, and now you're starting to see more conceptual stuff and just campaigns. Where each ad or each commercial kind of links one to the next, or they have some sort of common theme or whatever. So, anyway. Ouch. Oof. Louis Barletta in a dress. Funny, every once in a while I see skateboarders just doing funny stuff, and I think, God, where's Simon Woodstock these days? He was, for a lot of you who may not remember Simon, in the early to mid 90s, he was just skateboarding's class clown, and did a lot of stuff that you're seeing a lot of other people do on network television and making a lot of money for it. But anyway.
It's a really good commercial.
Yeah.
That opening clip is amazing.
Could almost be an opener for us. Yeah. Yeah, the jungle videos have always been really good, and there's been a lot of questions about the last one, but this one looks like it's pretty promising. Definitely look forward to seeing it. Wow. Oof.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Not to mention, that's a really good title.
Yeah. Should have been called Ait? Dude, you ate? Austin. So.
The funny thing is, right now we're actually, I am, the same time we're recording this commentary, we're watching the master that we just laid down onto tape and watching for glitches. So the shitty thing is, we actually could see a mistake and it would be recorded while I see it and go into fucking a nervous frenzy that I have to lay another master down. But here we go. This is our feature article. It's the longest one I've done now. I think Danny Way's is 31 minutes, our very first issue, but this one is 35 minutes long, and in my eyes it was the most interesting one yet to work on. I think in the past, doing these biographies on professional skateboarders was always really cool, but it was always just really a pat on their back, I guess. Mm-hmm. I mean, you never really want to you don't want to get too deep into a story, because you don't want to get into exposing anything bad about a person. And usually if there's anything really bad going on with somebody, then you don't. Well, I mean, the people that have been given a profile on are people who have contributed a lot, of people who deserve some sort of recognition for what they've done. Yeah. It's but yeah, so that's why this was really fun, I think, to work on, because it was a completely different approach. It was taking something that was very historical in skateboarding and had really intense highs and lows behind it, and also a bit of controversy within the actual surrounding skaters at the spot, and just so many different types of skating and skaters have come out of there. That was a really interesting thing to do. And so probably about 9 months, would you say, I think we worked on this. I started filming the interviews last October, I think, and went out there altogether about 3 or 4 times, and we'd just do a handful of interviews each time I went out there, and just hung out for a week or so, and just kind of did different things depending on the season. And but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun meeting all these people. I really had only kind of known Ryan G and Kerry Getz, and got to really hang out with. It's really cool, like Ricky Oyola and some of those guys out there, and just I don't know. I really just picked up and liked the scene a lot out there. It's still was really strong, even though the time of doing this love was kind of like unskateable.
Yeah, it's interesting over the years. I mean, you know, guys would come up and you know, get known for being really good from some obscure place, and usually they'd end up out here in California, where, by the way, we're recording this. But it's rare that there'd be a place outside of California where guys would, you know, be from, and they would, you know, get a lot of notoriety, turn pro, and stay there, you know, or in some cases come out here and then go back at the height of their popularity or whatever, because there's so much demand on their time and so many reasons for them to be in the media spotlight and near their sponsors or all those stuff's going on, which is usually out here in California. But Love Park in Philly, in particular, is a place where, you know, people, they're obviously proud where they're from. They like their scene, and you know, sort of remained out there regardless of the weather and whatnot. You know, to just be skaters from that area, and to keep that identity. Because a lot of guys that move out here, whether it's from a different country, a different state, or whatever, after a while they kind of become Californians, and they change, you know. But there's a lot of these guys from out there who just, you know, they're just proud of where they're from, and they're stoked on their scene, and that's where they are. And that's rare, you know.
And with that said, it really sums up what Love Park was to this city, and I think that's really why we picked this, because it was such a focal point of such an amazing city in skateboarding, and to see how much came out of it, and then to see what happened to it, you know, from an outsider's point of view, you know, because I'm not from there, and you know, just to be a skater and know how important this spot was to skateboarding, it was really, really interesting to actually be able to take on this story while it was happening, you know, because I was going out there like 9 months ago when they ultimately just, you know, like about 9 months before that had closed the park down. So what?
Speaking.
Oh, that's all right. That's just what I do. But so it's really interesting if you watch this article, or I guess you can't tell from watching it, but as we worked on it, we were watching the fate of Love Park unfold. Edmund Bacon was a great interview. Was a great one. He was I think one of the first interviews I got, and he actually I got in touch with him through my girlfriend, who was a huge help in this article and putting me in contact with a lot of people, and she also is the one that helped out in getting these photos that you see.
Thanks, Jessica.
And what's cool is Edmund Bacon lives about 4 doors down from her, and so she's pretty much in the same profession or just involved with a lot of the same stuff, so knew of a way to get a hold of Edmund Bacon, and she had actually gone and seen him speak at some of while she was going to school at Penn.
Yeah.
And
that little set of photos that you just saw is pretty amazing, just to see that place just form.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that used to be a street coming straight through that diagonally, you know, and they moved that out of the way, which is weird for a city to start obstructing traffic to build a public space. You know, you wouldn't see that anymore. They might do it to build an office building, but not a public space like this. So, but that was a different time. That was the 60s, 50s, that era, you know.
Dan Wolf was a really important part to this story. That he kind of played the role of kind of like Mark Gonzalez in our last article on the blind video, where he's kind of like this person that everybody had something to say about, but we actually didn't get an interview with Dan just because of bad timing on our behalf, I guess. But Dan was in the midst of working on his video Closure, and was really busy at the point where we were doing our interviews, and just the timing was completely off. So right when he was finishing his video Closure and finally had some time on his hands, we were done with our video and didn't have time to do an interview anymore. And we're just gonna do a phone interview, and that kind of fell through. Just me and Dan missed each other, but we tried our best just to tell this story of just the importance of Dan and his videos, his Eastern Exposure videos and his 4-on-1 articles and that stuff. It was amazing that he was documenting what was going on in skateboarding in this one city that was completely different than what was going on in the rest of the world. And I actually don't think if it wasn't for Dan that this style of skating would have ever been exposed and exploited like it was.
Yeah, I mean, being from the West Coast here, this was, these were the first glimpses we had of, video-wise at least, of what was really going on out there. And, so, after this, people go, yeah, I'm from Philly. It meant something, like, to people like myself who had never been there. I think I'd been out to Love Park once in, like, 95, for a couple of days, and, and it was amazing. But before that, you'd catch these videos, and, and then the stuff in 4-on-1 that Dan was doing, and it was just a whole other world, and it was cool to see that not everything was California, and and over the years, the people from there, kept it that way. I mean, they had their thing going, and
it had a huge impact on skateboarding, though. It really did.
Just all the people that came from there, and then all the people that went there. If you saw that opening clip with all the people that showed up there to just to prove themselves, and and of course Stevie's story is a whole feature in and of itself. But
yeah, we found that Stevie's story, Ricky's story, Josh's stories were all really interesting in their own rights. It could be obviously just full-blown, documentaries also, but what was really cool is they all were tied into the same spot, which was Love Park, and we found ourselves sometimes kind of like swaying away from the feature, which was Love, and started telling these stories of these guys instead. So what's weird is that...
Well, it seemed that of all of them, I mean, they were all skating, and they sort of came upon Love at some point in their careers. But here's a kid who, who was born here in many ways, and was became known here and grew up here, and Love Park's as much a part of him as anybody, and so he was the natural sort of his was a natural story to tell, I think, and. Truly a case where, that place formed who he is in a lot of ways. But
then this section right here, it kind of gets into a little bit of the drama, I think, that surrounded Stevie and Josh and their crew, and Ricky and Matt Reason and kind of like that crew. And we didn't want to get too deep into it because we felt like it was a little bit more like personal issues. It didn't really have anything to do with Love Park, and so we left it at just that Love Park was kind of like this central hub for all these different influential people.
Yeah, and the point of it is that, I mean, even while people had their differences and just didn't really hang out together, they would see each other there, and it was still a place where everybody went. It wasn't just these guys only skated there or those guys only skated there. It's still, I mean, despite people's differences or despite, different interests, it was still a place that attracted a lot of different people,
and sparked so many different styles of skating.
I think Edmund Bacon made a good point earlier where, he and Vincent Kling, really, they designed and built what they thought was a good public space that was open and allowed people just to go and enjoy it. And by accident, it was also an amazing skate spot, and, the skaters sort of repurposed it for their own, for their own needs. And, as a designer and as a person who creates public spaces that are meant to be used and interpreted, Bacon was just enthralled by the fact that the skaters just saw this place as something completely different from what other people saw, and so that I think that's ultimately what at least initially anyways, what led him to support the skaters, and then of course he had his own personal experiences there.
Yeah, what's really cool to maybe anyone who watches or is listening to this that's not from the Philadelphia area is Edmund Bacon is literally the creator of Love Park, and is responsible for it, and is just completely embraced skateboarders. And he's 93 years old and loves the skaters coming to his park. And what people maybe outside of Philly don't know is he is a huge supporter of actually freeing Love Park to the skaters, and is doing everything from, you know, donating money to his time and speaking, and to, you know, he's staged a protest. He's done all sorts of stuff, and he's an amazing, I think, figure, and just somebody that looks at it through different eyes. You know, skaters, I think they see the cops and they run, or they see the cops and they think they're doing something wrong. But as Edmund sees it, is we're doing something right and we're just being mistreated, and he's stepping forward, which is really cool. And he's doing it with this great organization that we'll talk about later on in this article.
The Skateboard Advocacy Network.
Interesting thing about this section right here is we actually had the video completely done and mastered, and had a different song in this part right here, which was actually Jay-Z. Where's
Heart of the City?
Yeah, Heart of the City, which the catchphrase of the song was "Where's the Love?" It just seemed like one of those really like cliche songs, but kind of cool. Had a really catchy feel to the song, and it just kind of was one of those things where Rockefeller wanted to work with us and get a song in there, and it was my first pick just to use that song. It just seemed like the obvious song to pick, but the sad thing is Jay-Z actually pulled the plug on it, and because he's trying to promote his new album, which comes out in a couple weeks, and didn't want any publicity or press for any of his old music, is what we were told, and so would not sign off on the rights to that song. But
it is a loss.
Yeah, it sucks. It was a great song, I think, just because it was just kind of like this mainstream hip hop song, and it kind of exemplified like, or show, I don't know, it had a lot of meaning to it, is, you know, the obvious meaning, where's the love, just because it's Love Park, but more so the song is just about, you know, something being the heart of the city, you know, which Love Park also was, and that Josh and Stevie kind of really just came, not out of nothing, but just really made a huge, had a successful career really based on one spot almost, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, especially Stevie, you know, Josh has been known for traveling all around the U.S. and living in different cities, but Stevie's been known for living in Philadelphia and really skating Love Park more than anything.
I love this part where it's just the natural sound. You don't got the music, you know, interfering, and it's just the natural music of the tiles, and, you know, gives you a sense of being there, like a little more than, you know, the standard edited music.
And also gives you a sense of, I think, really what Stevie could do with the park. It's just an amazing thing to watch him just really just kind of just roll around, and whatever's in front of him, he just destroys it.
Yeah, but
the song is Odd Nosdam, which anyone who watches on video is probably pretty familiar with the sound that we have, and we use a lot of this guy's music and a lot of stuff from the label Anacon. They've been a huge support and help to On Video, and it really helped us like kind of like find our sound for the video, and they always just come through with really great albums and really great music, and just send us stuff whenever there's something coming out. So again, this is Odd Nosdam.
a lot of the stuff that you hear is also unreleased. It's either stuff he's holding on to or stuff he just created, and you know we get to dip into his his private batch, but a lot of it is available on some of his albums and CDs. So you may just have to watch On Video to hear some of that stuff. But
a lot of this footage, almost, God, I want to say like 90% of this footage that you're seeing right now is all from Bill Strobeck, who is also a huge help. Him and Greg Hunt really just supplied us with an amazing amount of footage, seen and unseen footage, to the outside viewer. I never even had met Bill Strobeck, and he just heard that we were doing this article and called up Vern Laird and just said that he wanted to be a part of it. And he literally within a week put together about a 45 minute long tape of all his footage from Love Park. And it's amazing. It's just all this stuff that you'd seen in Transworld videos and the Alien Workshop videos and the DC videos. And you know, and a lot of unseen stuff that just were like outtakes from those guys' video parts. But it was really great to get all this original footage from so many people like Bill and Greg Hunt and of course Mark Brandstetter and Vern Laird, who, you know, have interviews in this article.
Yeah.
But Greg Hunt, you'll see in a little bit, also has just an amazing eye, and he's the one who gave us all the film footage of Love Park, aside from some of the time-lapse footage that our guy Dog Ingvesson shot. But Greg Hunt shot a lot of 35 millimeter city shots and some of the clips of just like Josh and Stevie together in the city, which I think without Greg and Bill's help, we wouldn't have been able to do this article at all.
Yeah. Well, a piece like this, you know, you're going over the history, and the history means what people, you know, remember of it, and what they remember of it obviously is the footage they've seen, and you know, and of course it's been so widely publicized that, you know, we had to really kind of go around and get stuff from a lot of different sources. You know, the places where a lot of this originally appeared, and but I think when you put it all together, instead of having it all in different videos, when you put it all together and give us some context, I think it takes on different meaning. You know.
Well, and I think it's really cool just how everyone just kind of embraced the idea that On wanted to do this story on Love Park. It was, you know, every skater that was known for skating in Love Park was more than happy to do an interview and talk about it and just be a part of doing this documentary on such a famous spot. And then, you know, on top of that, every photographer and filmer that was involved, you know, was just so great in helping out too and getting everything together. And
yeah.
Even Ryan G., who promised for weeks on end that he was going to give us tapes and never did, but aside from actually not giving us his tapes, he still was a huge help in putting me in contact with a lot of people out there and doing his interview. And, you know, he helped a lot with getting Josh Kalis's interview
finally done.
Yeah, locked down, and you know, and put me in contact with Chris Cole and
yeah,
there's a lot of people. And he was just, I don't know, I really appreciated everybody's help with this issue. I think there's a lot of people I never really had met before, and everyone just was really helpful, which was pretty neat.
And
to the point where Carrie's shot Nocturnal, which you'll see in a little bit, was also, I think, going to be a part of we're going to have a little after-party premiere. That doesn't matter. Now I'm just rambling.
Yeah. But by the time you're listening to this, it'll have already happened. But
yeah, sorry.
The premiere set up for Philly in late November 2003. It seems only fitting to present the video to the people who were so key to getting it finished and so key to, you know, it looking the way it looks and all of that. So it's you know, I guess our gesture to show it to them first. But yeah, it was pretty amazing to see how willing all these guys were to talk about you know, their experiences there and their experiences being in Philly. And you know, a lot of skaters are real camera shy when it comes to sitting there and just talking and answering questions, and you know, they prefer just to skate and get, you know, footage filmed. And so it was very enlightening to kind of deal with some of these guys. But
Vern gave me shit every single day he watched the article. Vern Laird, when he saw that footage of Anthony Van Engelen, and said I had to take it out because he's not a Philly loc. So it kind of turned into the running joke that just that Philly mentality that you have to take that shit out because AV is not from Philly. But the whole point of this article was really just about how famous this place was, that people would come out from LA just to go skate there and film stuff, you know. And it was you know, an amazing skateboard highlight, that shit that Anthony did. So we put it in. This is funny. Pete Eldridge showed up in every single article this issue of On except for Skateboard Madness.
He was a little young back then.
Yeah, but he ends our montage. He's got that Nollie 360 in the Space Invaders article, and he went on the Tour de France thing, and then he lives in Philly, so it's cool.
Yeah, so unofficially it's the Pete Eldridge issue.
Yeah, Pete was cool. I met Pete working on this article, just going out there because he's good friends with Mark Brandstetter and Carrie and those guys, and so it was get to hang out with those guys here and there. Everyone was really, it was cool to hang out with those guys though.
Yeah.
There's some footage that Vern Laird shot of some sort of riot squad just walking through Love Park, and we just thought we didn't really know what we were going to use it for at first, and then we just came across this whole section. We were talking about cops, and it just seemed like the typical on-video sarcasm, just to throw in some riot squad footage.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. No, but the stories that these guys had about, you know, and you're only getting a small sample of them, but in the actual article here, but they're definitely indicative of all the other ones that we got on tape. It was really, really gnarly. I mean, I've seen a lot of harassment, and I've dealt with a lot of cops in the last 20 years dealing, skating different places, and I've been in people's backyards emptying pools, and cops would show up and be nicer than most of the stories I heard coming out of Love Park, and it's just
there's
it's
a
insane.
lot of gnarly stories that went to this section, but the thing is people don't have footage of that. And so it's really hard to tell those stories in this piece because you don't have anything to back it up unless you're going to start doing like a true Hollywood story kind of thing where you have a reenactment. But
I'm getting honest to draw it all.
Yeah, but other than that, is really the only footage we had was some stuff of Vern that he had filmed hiding behind bushes, filming undercover cops harassing little kids.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to film when you're running.
Yeah. And that's what that clip was a second ago, is the camera shaking. It literally was Vern Laird running from the undercover cops. And so I just thought it was a great clip.
It's just amazing that a city would put that much resource and that much manpower into, corralling and arresting skateboarders. I mean, a city like Philadelphia's got way more bigger problems than, but here again is Edmund Bacon throwing his political clout behind skateboarding, which is really cool. And like Kirk was saying earlier, I mean, a lot of us are being introduced to him now as this, designer from the city of Philadelphia. But within Philadelphia, he's kind of a local legend, and so for him to come out in favor of Love Park and skateboarding there is it's huge. It was a huge influence for a lot of people out there, I think, and so.
This X Games footage was a lucky find, just really cool. 4-1 had covered the X Games for a bonus DVD article, whatever, like 1 and 2 years ago. And we were just working on this X Games section. I really didn't know what we were going to use because obviously we weren't going to use real X Games footage from like TV. And so Mark Branstad and Vern Laird had gone to the contest both years and filmed it. And so I just had their tapes, and it worked out really, really good actually. Because it's kind of like behind the scenes X Games footage too. And I don't even know what to say to that clip. It's just amazing. What you'll see later or in a second is Josh Kalis. It's hard to tell in the footage, but Josh Kalis actually made a shirt with that clip of Carrie ollieing the mayor, and just has Mayor Street's a hypocrite.
Yeah. No love. It is amazing that after Love Park was shut down, how many of those guys did actually leave or spend a significant amount of time outside of, Philly.
Yeah, Stevie.
It was so crucial to that scene, and certainly it's not the only spot in town, but, it was kind of the main artery, I guess you might call it, Everybody flowed through there. It's just...
All this footage is stuff that Greg Hunt shot, I think, while he was working on the DC video. And Greg Hunt had seriously just tapes and tapes of footage that they had shot for either commercials or their video, and just one way or another just didn't end up getting used. And so he just was kind of sitting on all this footage and wanted, saw it as a great opportunity for somebody to see it. And obviously we saw it as a great opportunity to use it. And it helped really tell this story also. When Bam tries to be serious, he's still smiling.
He's still smiling.
It's a serious section, and Bam can't even.
That sinister little stare,
Makes me laugh every time I see it.
Yeah. And poor JFK. I mean, the dude took a bullet in the head and can't even properly remember him by keeping his name on a park that was named for him.
Yeah, JFK Plaza's called Love Park.
Skaters just they get there, they look up and they see the big LOVE, and they just go, okay, Love Park. They ignore the little plaque on the entrance or something that probably actually says John F. Kennedy Plaza, but Ironically, this issue is premiering in Philly on the 40th anniversary of John F. Kennedy's assassination. So.
Is it really? Yeah. I didn't know that. This is all footage Dog filmed. He was out there shooting that intro footage to the beginning of the video. He took like a 3-day trip over to Philly just to shoot a bunch of just visuals for the story, which was cool. And Mark Brandstetter just picked him up and just basically chauffeured him around town and just shot a bunch of this footage of the park and a bunch of city scenes and just some other shit. It was cool though.
It is pretty shocking to look at that park and like those things that they installed. Like you would think they would use like the same colors, like the concrete and the granite, and they just went for pink and all this wacky stuff.
That's the only photo from Ryan G. Oh no, that's right.
That one, the famous cover.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
Okay, let's be graphic now. This is the graphic section of the story, where Bam and Tim just.
That was one of those clips. Every time somebody saw it, they were curious if we were gonna keep it in, as if
you guys can't say that. Yeah, we can. Put a sticker on the front of it.
Bam can't say it actually.
Yeah.
Bam can say it too, but.
I wanted to use that last clip in reverse, so the apple actually comes out of the trash and into his mouth. But
you never told me that. I totally would have done that. It's such a great idea. I didn't think of that. That fight right there lasted for like 5 minutes, and they never hit each other. They just kept swinging and missing. It was great.
Yeah. God, that kid looks like he's 8. It's funny how the cops sit there with their legs up. They're like just the posturing is just so aggressive and ridiculous.
This is one of just those great quotes. You just had to. This is like the equivalent of Stevie's line earlier, skating through the park. Ricky just has a perfect 30-second spurt of. It just summed up everything about Love Park and skateboarding. And this is one of those ones I just want to turn the music down and let him just talk and just hear it. It's really on point and just really hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And if you're curious of why Josh Kalis' interview is out of focus, it's because Wingco shot it on Josh's camera and didn't know how to work it. And set it on autofocus so the fucking camera keeps focusing on the love sign in the background.
Love the pigeon. Yeah, that was a pretty heroic effort on Wing's part too to get that interview. He flew out to Chicago. The interview fell through. Then he rented a car and drove into Michigan. And finally found Josh out there.
After I had already been out to Philly to film an interview with Josh too, and when I got out there to meet him, I call him and he's in Ohio, and he forgot to tell me that he had to go to Ohio for the weekend or something like that. But whatever, it worked out. And I mean, Josh was just one of those people you knew you just had to have no matter what.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what we did.
Yeah. Thanks, Wing. Those the last few clips of people skating at Love with all the planners and stuff in place. I just love that. Love to see people just take advantage of what's supposed to be an obstacle or an impediment. And
it was really last-minute footage we got too. Yeah. Really last minute. It literally came in just a couple of days before we were finishing the article, and I think that's what was great. It's really current. It was great to get footage of Ricky, skating at Love Park to this day.
Yeah. Speaking of current,
here's William Penn with a skateboard.
Scott Kipp.
Scott Kipp. You want me to call him?
Yeah, give him a call.
You can talk about Scott and I'll call him.
Scott and a lot of the skaters out there, and I think this is pretty unique because you don't see this in a lot of cities, got together and said, we can sit here and just take it and complain, or...
You broke my phone.
Whatever, bro. We can get together and fight fire with fire and use the system and
Hello?
Hey!
Hey.
How's it going?
Hey, good.
Who's this?
This is Scott.
Hi, Scott. It's Kirk and Mickey.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good. We're at the end of it. We're watching the video right now, doing the commentary. I just wanted to call you.
What are you guys doing out there right now?
Well, we're about to have one of our really exciting D&D club meetings.
Wow. What's the issue now?
The issue?
Yeah. That you guys are dealing with?
Talking about? I don't know. Everyone's just sort of hanging out.
You want to give us a quick update on what's going on with Love Park at this very point?
Yes, at this moment, I guess the next thing coming up is we have a meeting with the managing director of the city of Philadelphia, this guy named Phil Goldsmith. The next meeting with him is scheduled for November 6th, which is conveniently after the election on November 4th. So we're meeting with them. We've been meeting with them almost once a week until that FBI probe thing happened. But I think that's blowing over. So, like I said, November 6th is the next meeting, and we'll be discussing ways to fund the park and ways to pay for the damage that skateboarders do. So now we're at the point where we're getting down to the nitty-gritty money of it, where they're, trying to convince us that each tile on the ground costs $3,000, and trying to convince us that there's $100,000 in damage a year due to skateboarders. So that's kind of where we are. We're talking them down on that and trying to explain skateboarding to them a little bit better.
Tell them not to drive their fucking motorcycles and SUVs on it, chasing skateboarders out.
Yeah, exactly. They break as many tiles as we do. More, I guess.
So today being October 27th, you guys are looking at in a couple of weeks meeting, or maybe just a week now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up soon.
Right. But currently, are people skating? What's sort of the situation for skateboarders on the ground there?
Well, the reality of it is people are skating there. People have been skating there. People skated there before, during, and after the big crackdown. I guess the only time people didn't skate there is when the fence was up. So it's always been skated, although sort of in increasing amounts. And that's kind of the way it was, over time. It would always be a little bit worse or a little bit better depending upon whatever. We never really knew why. Sometimes it would be more of a bust than others. But people still skate there, although I hear that there's supposedly going to be a kind of a crackdown on it after the election.
Oh, shit.
But I don't know. But at this point, I believe that they are meeting with us in good faith.
Right.
Because we've been getting legitimate attention from the managing director and from the city. And he's like the number 2 guy in the city. So, he doesn't have time to joke around with the skateboarders if he doesn't mean it.
Right.
So it's just a matter of convincing them that skateboarders aren't going to descend on the park and completely destroy it if they let us in there, which I think they might be worried about.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
About where we are. It's looking good. It's just looking like city government, it's just incredibly slow.
A lot of red tape.
Because everyone knows, all the skateboarders know, we've been skating there for years and years and years. The park hasn't fallen apart yet, but
Right.
I think people haven't skated there as much because there's been a law against it.
Right.
So I've been working on kind of educating the people in the city about what skateboarding is. And on the other hand, I've been working on trying to convince more skateboarders that this is a possibility. Like this is something that should happen, because there's this.
What are you going to do once they actually open up Love Park? You're going to have a lot of free time on your hands, huh?
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to go skating more. I guess, yeah. I don't know. But it's like I was saying, I've been working on convincing skateboarders that this is a possibility. There's more skateboarders in America now than there are people who play baseball. And it seems like there aren't that many skateboarders, but there are tons, and we should have a place that's not, a plastic skateboard park.
There should be at least as many designated skateboard areas as there are baseball diamonds, right?
Yes, definitely.
But of course there won't be.
No, I don't. Not this year.
Yeah.
But we're working on it, and I think skateboarders are getting older and more mature, and
yeah.
And
And some of us are getting elected to office.
But I don't know. As like when Love gets reopened, or maybe I should say when, but it might be pretty crazy,
Yeah.
It's the first time that I know of that anything like that has happened, and it might be a situation where like Yogi Berra said, nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
Yeah, yeah. But at the moment, are the cops laying off, or are people still getting harassed for going there?
People skate there pretty much every night that it's nice out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Rush hour is when people used to skate the most, kind of in the evening after work or after school. And it's a little risky to go there, at rush hour, but pretty much dusk and into the night, it's all good. People have been skating there a ton.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You pretty much meet people there just by going.
So no ranger ambushes or cop ambushes as of late?
No, not at night. Like, occasionally that happens during the day. I mean, the biggest thing to worry about is the bike cops,
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, the bike cops can catch you if they want, unless
You guys should, what you should do, it's a fucking easy thing you do is you set up a tire spike all the way around the whole park.
Ollie over it.
Yeah, it won't catch you, but it'll fucking pop their tires in a second.
Yeah, wow.
Good one, Kirk.
Hey, we're actually at the end of the video now.
All right.
And I guess just want to say thanks, and I'll probably talk to you soon, but thanks for, all your help with this and just with what you guys are doing for skateboarding.
Yeah, well, no, thanks for your help, and, thanks for your attention and your support. And and I guess I'll see you guys at the premiere, right?
Yeah.
Right on, dude.
Thanks for calling.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.